Anna Maria Porowska, who is a YPM Pro ambassador. If you are not a YPM Pro ambassador and are looking to get more involved in the association, please contact me. My email is kevin@miamire.com. I will post a link eventually, but I don't want to get links to get mixed up. But anyways, if you're looking to get more involved with the association, get a feeling for what leadership is like, the ambassador program is a perfect way to get your feet wet. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Anna Maria Porowska and Dr. Estelle, is it Dinh?
Dinh, yes.
Dinh. She is a professor out of a couple of universities. I'll let them introduce themselves. You have my full permission to share the screen and get started. And we'll stop here at approximately 1:22, 1:23, sometime around there. But the floor is yours. Please talk about the luxury or the business of luxury. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Kevin, for the introduction. And we are very pleased to be here today together with Dr. Estelle Dinh. I decided to invite Dr. Estelle Dinh because she is the master of luxury, and she will help to guide us through the luxury industry. And I will focus a little bit more on the real estate part of luxury. So today we will be talking about what is the business of luxury. And I'll just introduce myself briefly for those of you who don't know. As Kevin said, I am the Miami YPN and actually the Broward Miami ambassador for this year. I am also the vice president at the United Nations Association here in Broward County. My background is in luxury, event management and hospitality, and as well as luxury goods and services. So now I would like to have Dr. Estelle Dinh introduce herself, and right after that, we're going to get going with our presentation.
Well, good evening. It's evening for me. Good afternoon for you. My name is Dr. Estelle Dinh. I'm actually a professor at the International University of Monaco, Lyon Higher Institute of Education, and also EHL École Hôtelière Lausanne, which is the best hospitality school in the world, and also Lyon top 3 hospitality school in the world. I'm also CEO of my own company, Attic Global Collection, where we do luxury branding and luxury marketing strategy for tourist cities of 50 hectares and sustainable strategy as well for. So when I say tourist cities of 50 hectares, think about Sentosa, think about Pearl of Qatar, think about Atlantis, for instance. I'm also founder and lecturer of many luxury masterclasses all around the world on 3 different continents. I create actually training programs also for hospitality groups such as Minor and other groups. I'm also founding members of different private clubs, including the Yacht Club of St. Bart's, for instance. And Maria and myself, we also member of committee of also different royal balls under the patronage of Prince Albert of Monaco, Prince Nicola of Romania, Prince Stefan Francisco of Russia, and so on and so forth. I think you have understood both of us has a background on high net worth individuals, perception luxuriousness, luxury services, luxury marketing, luxury branding. Well, in one word, luxury. And I think Maria will tell you what luxury is about, because we see the word luxury, it's literally everywhere, every single corner.
Thank you, Dr. Estelle Dinh. So main luxury symbols that we actually get to experience every day living here in our beautiful Southeast Florida. So we got the private yacht, the real estate that we're all in and we're trying to be in. And today we're going to focus a little bit about how to deal with the consumers of luxury real estate. Private planes, luxury cars, diamond, exotic holidays, fashion, perfume, wine and spirits. We have all of these luxury symbols here in our beautiful Southeast Florida. So what is luxury? If you would ask yourself, the first things that probably come to your mind, that's price, quality, time, exclusivity, comfort, and desire. But in essence, what does all of this mean? It means that luxury is actually not a price point. Luxury is the level of service, and what goes behind it is the value. So value is extremely important, what you bring to the table for the consumer, of whether you're in a service industry or a product industry. So given this, many cultures have different types of perception over luxury. Usually it has to be something very pleasant and interactive. Brand name usually guarantees the quality and security for the person. Hence, Please go ahead with the picture.
Sorry.
Hence, we see all these developments here in Southeast Florida, like the Porsche Design Tower, like the new upcoming Bentley residences, like the Ritz-Carlton residences, like Waldorf Astoria. All of these new developments have a very strong and precise brand behind them. They are already targeting the sector that they're aiming at and the client. And the clients that will be purchasing at these developments, they will know exactly the quality and luxury that they are offering together with the brand. The experience is taken from worldwide, it's exchange of ideas and an international creation of the perception of the brands. That's why this is so important, and that's why more buildings actually focus on this type of co-branding. So, USA. We're going to be talking today about USA because USA is one of the largest high net worth economies. So the private wealth held in the United States is over 65 trillion. It surpasses China, and China is only at 2.17 trillion. There's 5.3 million high net worth individuals living in the USA with 1 million USD dollars or more. There's 770 billionaires with wealth over $1 billion. And the average wealth of an individual is 198,000, and only places such as Monaco, Switzerland, Luxembourg, and Australia actually surpass these numbers. Centimillionaires living in the USA with well over $100 million, that's almost 10,000 people in the United States. So United States accounts for 32% of total global wealth and 36% of world's millionaires. And as we can see, especially now during the pandemic, we saw a migration to Miami, to our beautiful Southeast Florida. And this is a fact. People started moving away from big cities such as Chicago, Los Angeles, and New York City, and they started coming to Austin, Greenwich, Miami, Palm Beach. They're here. They want to be here because we have a lot to offer. We are, sort of say, we are the uprising Monaco in a sense, maybe a little bit. And here, me on the picture, this is a picture taken at the Bombardier facility back in October, I think. I was invited to their lounge. And what this picture truly means is that if we see business pioneers such as Bombardier coming here and opening up their facilities, it means that the influx of the multimillionaires and high net worth individuals will be coming here more and more. Hence, the luxury market, in my perception, will be growing. And these, all of these numbers were taken from a released report, which was from Henley and Partners, released a couple of weeks ago. So what do you have to do in order to satisfy a high net worth individual? You need to know how to create and implement. You need to know how to manage and make them perceive that you're a quality advisor and that you can meet their demands. And you need to know everything. You need to have the know-how of a luxury persona. So you need to know the trend and what's in and what's out. So what's very important is the emotional engagement. Why do people buy a Coca-Cola versus a Pepsi or a Toyota versus a Honda? Everything is about the emotions. And according to research and studies, people base their decisions, their purchasing decision upon emotional intelligence and emotional feelings. So you need to know how to learn how to engage people. So you need to have something what other people don't. You need to be unique. What I would do, and what I always try to do with myself and my clients, is that I try to be an outsider and see what that person would want. In the sense, if I wouldn't be in the industry and I would want someone to lead me over the industry. So how do they perceive you as a real estate advisor, and what could you do to make it better? Remember that Florida is a lifestyle. There's everything here, all the luxury sectors. So we need to know precisely about them, because your client will know everything about it, and you'll want to know to make sure that you have topics to speak about them with. Also about like the different types of events that are happening, Miami Open, you know, all the baseball championships and so on. So you need to know all of this. You need to know also how to position yourself, how you're going to be different from all the competition that is here on the market. We have a lot of competition, we all know it. So make sure that you're visible out there and you're unique. So always plan ahead and learn. Continuous improvement is something that we all have to focus on. So value is extremely important, and this is one of the aspects of value is actually the promise. Why Starbucks, Zara, and IKEA are so successful? Because they have the product, they have the excellent salespeople, they have the value of experience, which equals the client service. Even Chick-fil-A, like Chick-fil-A, let's say it's a little bit different of an industry, but people go back because of their very well-known service. So it's the value that they're giving to their customers. And also remember that the journey for the customer is very long. It's the before, during, and after purchase. So you have to make sure that on every step of the way, whenever you're leading your client through the journey, you need to meet their expectations. They have to have excellent perceptions, and they need to feel the delight after. So also make sure that you always follow up. The way I measure my retention with clients is whether they send me back clients, whether they're going to continue to work with me. That's something that we should focus on. Remember that it's much easier to keep a client than look for a new client. So remember, always focus on loyalty. That's very important. And with this said, I am giving the floor to Dr. Estelle Dinh, which she will talk more in depth about the industry of luxury.
Well, thank you. Well, basically, the business of luxury is booming, and the business of luxury is basically focusing on customer centricity. And luxury brands must deliver a timely and timeless form of meaningful value and empower expressions of individual identities. Now, in order to understand the business of luxury, we should understand the market. Now, what are the new markets in the luxury industry? Well, in terms of demographics, the millennials and Generation Z, they drive luxury growth at accelerating rates, with Generation Alpha fast approaching. So millennials and Generation Z accounted for the entire growth of the global luxury market in 2022, according to Bain & Company Altagamma latest study, as the biggest part of consumers. And this shift will accelerate in the coming years. Generation Z and Generation Alpha luxury spending is expected to grow 3 times faster than other generations. But this is only for the demographic. Now, in terms of geographic, well, Asia is booming and becoming wealthier. When I talk about Asia, I'm not just talking about China. Of course, Chinese consumers are still expected to drive an influence in spending. Well, it is forecasted that they will make up to 40–50% of the global luxury market in 2030. But other Asian countries are becoming wealthier, including Vietnam, India, Indonesia. India, for instance, India luxury market is forecasted to expand to 3.5 times today's size by 2030. Now, what are the different trends in the luxury industry? Well, the first one is that luxury can be invested as a financial asset. Well, because the financial market being volatile, and we have seen that, especially during the pandemic, people are looking to invest into luxury goods as a way to invest in an alternative value holding assets beyond the traditional investment like gold and diamonds. So luxury watches, high-end properties, fine wines, designer bags, they tend to hold their value over time. If you take, for instance, Hermes Birkin bag, Chanel bag, Louis Vuitton handbag, all those luxury houses raise their prices and tighten their distribution because they tend to hold their value over time and even appreciate in value if you look at the auction of Sotheby's. So it makes them more desirable in terms of investment. Now, of course, there's some key caution to keep in mind. The authenticity of goods. Today, we talk about investment in blockchain technology, for instance. Well, there are interesting approaches, yes, to improve the authentication processes. So common standard are yet to be developed for new technologies to be truly effective at scale. Now, this is one of the trends. The second trend that is crucial in the business of luxury, and if you want to work in the business of luxury, you cannot go beyond that, is a branded experience. Now, wellness ambitions have transformed luxury for some time now, and it's even truer after the pandemic. So consumers are increasingly viewing luxury goods as investment in themselves as individuals. So they think of the well-being and the betterment, and luxury will focus on fulfilling experiences for fuller lives. It's driven partially by this culture, we only live once. So luxury tends to capitalize on exclusivity, and it should focus on the experience that exclusivity brings to the table. Now, today, customers expect a wonderful and ultra customized experience. So focusing on the experience can also work for marketing tactics. Now, the main strategy is to craft the message that emphasizes the experience of luxury brands in order to reach new audience through emotion. The most important thing in luxury is emotion. Luxury is creating emotion. And over the years, personal goods and luxury brands have extended their portfolio in F&B experiences, in emotional experiences. If we talk about Ralph Lauren, for instance, Ralph Lauren, they're opening Ralph's Cafe, Ralph's Bar. We talk about Dior, Monsieur Dior restaurant in Avenue Montaigne. We talk about Louis Vuitton opening the Hall, the finest restaurant. So luxury brand tends to expand into the lifestyle offerings through pop-up stores or permanent locations. But all this to create this full 360 experience. Now, the most important thing then is owning the customer experience, because, well, you have to own it right from the beginning to right to the end. And research shows that 60% of consumers expect excellent customer service. Now, that means that luxury brands need to focus on the customer experience from every touch point, from the luxury website to the post purchase, emails. You should have only one goal in mind. One goal is to delight the customer. Now, the third trend in the luxury industry is conscious luxury. Well, as I said, the new market is millennials, Generation Z, and fast-coming Generation Alpha. They are well connected. They are well informed. They are aware of what's going on environmental and social issues, and they make informed purchases by understanding how sustainable brands are from environment, social, and ethical points of view. Now, one of the biggest emerging luxury consumer trends to watch across the industries is, of course, eco-consciousness, sustainability. And this should go in alignment with the values of the consumers. So when we talk about sustainability, we talk about reducing plastic, we talk about recycling furniture, we talk about reducing carbon emission, we talk about solar panels, but not only sustainability. We can talk also, they are also aware of the social values as well, such as buying ethical sourced products, such as buying local products from local producers, or such as including local communities in the business model. So all this are part of the concern of the new market in the luxury industry. What the next trend in the business of luxury is, of course, the technology. When I talk about technology, I talk first of the traditional technology, which is online. The online channel will surpass all other luxury sales channels. Now, there's a recent study, a study by Google saying that 73% of consumers describe themselves as channel agnostic. So they want to access each purchase, which channel is most suitable depending on the convenience and availability. And after COVID, this online luxury shopping is now cementing its place in the customer journal. So online is on track to be the single biggest sales channel in the coming years, surpassing mono-brand retail stores. Now, one of the key drivers of this shift is a growing importance of mono-brand online stores. Now, while traditional luxury brands will rely heavily on multi-brand retailers to sell their product online, well, this will change and will double down by luxury brands creating their own website and driving sales themselves, and therefore also controlling fully their communication and online marketing strategy. By 2030, one third of all luxury sales will take place online. And we saw in fact that in 2022, that Richemont Group slowly reversing in the acquisition of Yoox Net-a-Porter, for instance. So online is one thing, but the next thing is, of course, the NFTs and the practical implication and real world value implications of the NFTs. Well, luxury brands are expected to be deeply rooted in craftsmanship and innovation. And well, despite the highly mediatic fall of cryptos in 2022, there is an increasing amount of innovative NFTs luxury projects in 2023 going on. So going beyond the speculations, luxury brands will leverage blockchains to experiment with real utilities of virtual ownership and authentication of physical goods. So from Prada, for instance, time capsule NFT series to Tiffany, crypto, punk. So 2023 we'll see actually, and in the future, we'll see more NFTs offering tangible function within new emerging business models. Now, NFT is one thing, but the last thing is, of course, the metaverse and the emergence of virtual influencers and digital identities in the metaverse. So luxury is redefining the way we experience the world. And that means a growing sense of digital fluidity and bolder moves towards more seamless, multi-dimensional, 360-degree virtual realities. Now, you know, the gaming habits of the younger generation, well, those younger generation who used to be gamers, they would be the luxury shoppers. They are the luxury shoppers today, and especially in Asia. And they form the perfect foundation for virtual influencers. And the metaverse offers new opportunities for these virtual influencers to thrive. So the metaverse will also present opportunities for luxury brands to empower individual identities beyond physical appearance. And well, I would like to conclude by saying that luxury needs to innovate to stay relevant. So resting on the prestige and of a brand is not enough to remain successful. A luxury brand who can successfully adapt to the changing of times and new consumers' expectations without sacrificing their core values will be the biggest winners of the next centuries. So but at the end, it's still very difficult to stay on top of the latest digital trends. So at the end, luxury will be and always will be about extreme value creation. It is pure emotion, featuring the highest end of artistry. Do you still see my screen?
No, Estelle, but I think we're running a little bit low on time.
Oh, sorry.
I took it down.
Our just one last question to everyone. So how do you perceive your brand? What is your brand? Look at the broad spectrum of luxury and how the industry is developing. And according to researches, the industry luxury sector will hit 358 billion this year. So there's a lot to know and there's a lot to learn, especially if we want to build our relationships with luxury client buyers. So you need to know your industry, you need to know what's behind, what's the trends and everything what Estelle was talking about.
So as I said, well, luxury will always be about extreme value creation, about pure emotion, featuring the highest end of artistry and excellent storytelling. And it must lead to an incredible experience that's always surprising, never entirely predictable, and always exciting. Whether it's online, on the phone, by email, or face-to-face, it has to be exciting. Now, how to make luxury brands stand out? Well, first of all, as Anna said, be unique. Begin with your brand being original, finding a niche that no one has used, and create a unique image, a voice, instead of just using information based on cliche. A marketing language. Create your own marketing language. Of course, the second element will be trust, giving existing customers a sense of familiarity and retain them. And well, keep your promises over and over again. This is how you build trust actually in marketing. And finding your edge. You should differentiate yourself by offering an advantage over your competitors. And it can be utmost product quality, full content, extreme dedication to customized customer service. I insist on the word extreme dedication to personalized customer service or co-branding. Well, at the end, the key to luxury is and always will be centered around an idea of exclusivity and the unexpected, the feeling that not everyone will be able to get their hands on. Well, after all this, the only thing I think you should retain is any luxury things you can easily obtain are probably not luxury, because luxury is not about price. As Anna said, it is about value. This is basically what you should understand out of the business of luxury, creating value.
That's beautiful. Do you have any examples to directly place into the service of real estate for luxury? Like, obviously those points are good, but can you be a little more specific as to how you can translate that in the world of real estate?
Well, when I talk to my clients, I always say to my clients, all the clients, and especially in real estate as well, they prefer, so if you offer them, you say, okay, you pay $100, but you give in value 105. Or you pay 1 million and you give in value 3 million. They will prefer to pay 1 million instead of $100 because they're looking for value and not for price. This is what I meant by luxury is not about price, it's about value. It's about creating value. You charge it for 1 million, give in value 3 million. This is what they're looking for. This is the value they put in.
May I add what also?
Yes.
The consumer is looking for? They're looking for your knowledge. They want to know exactly, you need to know all the details. When you go to a presentation and you're out there with them, you need to know exactly what you're presenting. You need to know your numbers. You need to know the quality of the materials. You need to know where they come from even. All of this, like the client wants to know that because they're paying for it and they want to see the value that they're paying for it. So why do we always go to those new developments? And the first thing that we hear is like, these are the best, European appliances. It's the developers are creating the value that the consumer wants, but we need to learn how to portray that value into their eyes so that they actually see what they're paying for and that it's something that's going to meet their standards, the promise. So let's say we have the Bentley residences, correct? And now when those people, they know car, what type of a car that is, and what kind of luxury and what kind of standards going to be there. So when they go to the sales center, that sales center has to give the image, the brand, and the standard of the Bentley company so that they actually feel like they belong there, that it's that's something that they're looking for and they want to be around, and it meets the brand standards. So that's the promise that we always have to keep in mind, that if someone is paying for something, they need to see the value. Like Estelle said, most of the time, a consumer like that will be willing to pay more than the offered price, but if they see the value and the knowledge that's behind it. So we are the ones that actually have to create the perception of value for our clients.
Absolutely. And the business of luxury is all about how to create value. This is what luxury is about. Through the symbolism, through the heritage, to the quality, to the rarity, to the materials, to the service, to the extreme customer service dedication, to the extreme customization. All this is about creating value, and this is what the business of luxury is about. It's about creating value. Since I'm sharing my screen, so I don't see you.
I think everyone is doing their surveys, or at least they should be doing them.
Right. You're not sharing your screen anymore, by the way.
Oh, really? Oh, okay,
Yes.
good. Then I can return on Zoom.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Good.
Cindy, you're muted.
Just realized that. Can you see me okay? Okay, I'm ready. Kevin, do you want me to go?
I know I made you rush. Let them talk a little longer, I guess,
Yeah,
since
sure.
they have a little
Yeah.
more, and then we'll
Yeah.
get started with you closer to 2, as promised. Sorry about that.
No, no worries. We're ready when you are.
I'm professor at university. You can, you can make me speak for 8 hours. So it's this is what
Please
professors at
continue.
university do.
Yeah, got
Unless
it.
security throw you out, you stay there in class and you still speak. So,
Yeah, well, share your screen again and continue with the presentation for another 20 minutes or so.
sure. So. Wait, I need to share. I need to find it. Where to share it?
Sorry, I missed it. So Cindy isn't doing the presentation now?
Well, she said, Dr. Dinh said that she had a little more to talk about, and since
No, I mean, I'm fine with it if you need me to talk, but if not, then we can go to next presentation. I'm happy. I mean, we have prepared for 30 minutes as required. We try to as required.
right,
Now,
you
if
said
you
you had a
want
few
me
more
to
slides.
elaborate. Sorry.
You said you had a few more slides, correct?
No, the slides are over, but I can talk about pretty much anything.
Oh, I thought for whatever reason that you had more slides. Okay. All right. Well, no, I won't make you stretch anymore then. Sorry for the confusion here, guys. Cindy, here, let me make you co-host so you can share your screen if you need to. And we'll get started with your presentation.
See how I can share this.
I mean, the slides are over, but I can still keep talking, you know. I know these slides to talk. This is the aim of the job of a professor, you know. You stay there on stage for 8 hours, slides, no slides, doesn't matter. You stay there and you talk.
Okay, while Cindy is getting her slides up and everything else, what are some of the things that have surprised you about luxury within the past year?
I think the whole industry has shifted, really, and especially during pandemic, the whole industry, there's a shift, the acceleration, the shift, especially in terms of online, especially in terms of conscious luxury, that is even more important than 3 years ago, and that has been accelerated during the pandemic. What we used to have as a traditional luxury values, luxury marketing strategies, this doesn't stand anymore on its own. Before it was sufficient for Hermes to sell their goods, for Armani to sell even their hotels. Now, today, the generation is more and more conscious about all the values behind, about the digital luxury, sustainable luxury, and this has been accelerated with the pandemic. So it is very true also in the real estate market. I have a friend, she's creating the metaverse of Monaco with the government of Monaco, and she's showcasing all the she's doing the viewing of the apartments on the metaverse instead of clients flying around. Well, they show actually the apartment or the future apartments through the metaverse, and those are the practical implications of the metaverse. And of course, they have also restaurants on the metaverse where they can actually have a look at the future dishes or future menus and have already a sense of what's going to be served in the real restaurant. So I think all this has been accelerated in the last, especially in the last 5 years with the pandemic. Did I answer your question?
That's pretty insane that so it's a complete model. So every place that is in Monaco will now be in the metaverse.
Absolutely. So she's actually she's Forbes 30 under 30. She created the metaverse of Monaco with Prince Albert Foundation and the government. So she's recreating actually all the different quarters and areas of Monaco on the metaverse, as well as all the luxury events that you can follow on the metaverse as well. And schools will soon follow. And of course, all the shops have their own retail space as well, where they can sell the NFT of the good, but also the real good on the metaverse. So your avatar will have your measurement. When you go in the shop, you try the clothes, the dress. If you like it, you order it, and they send it home. Or you can order the NFT of it. It's up to you. So this is what I meant by the practical implications of the metaverse. It's not just, a gaming universe as we tend to think. It can be much more concrete. And this is very true in the real estate industry, especially when you sell on plans. So you don't sell, it's not existing yet, but giving the metaverse of it will give a better experience of what the future apartment, a future house will be, and will give also more incentive for the customer to buy afterwards.
Fantastic. That's pretty amazing. It'll be interesting to see how the metaverse impacts here in South Florida. So that'll be seen.
I will. Next time I go to Florida, I'll bring her with me. She's expanding to Malta, expanding to Singapore, expanding to other parts of the world. So I'm sure you'll have some opportunities.
Miami needs to be on that list for sure. Well, hey, thank you so much, everybody, for your time. We're going to move on to our next presenter now. We have Cindy Summer Perez. Unfortunately, we had one absence. I've not heard back from Alexandre, so we are not going to be doing the intro into global real estate class. But this one I'm really excited for. Everybody's on Instagram these days. We have an Instagram expert with us today. She's looking to teach more about mastering the gram. But here is the demo version of the new class that'll be coming out later this year, Mastering the Gram with Cindy Summer Perez. Cindy, thank you so much for your time. The floor is yours. And because of the missing presenter, we'll give you a little more time than 20 minutes. So please take your time. Don't feel rushed. And the floor is yours. Thank you so much for presenting today.
Cool. Thank you. I'm excited to share here with you guys. I was sharing my screen earlier. I'm not sure if you were able to see it, but I'm going to put it back up and see if you can see.
We can see it. We're good. Now you're on mute.
Now you can hear me and you can see me. Okay, thank you for doing that. Awesome. So while I'm going through this, I cannot see you. So if you have any questions or need me to stop, just let me know. A little bit about my company. It's called So Good Media. It is a Latina-founded digital marketing agency, and we help service-based businesses establish a virtual authority and turn connections into clients. Back in 2019, when we launched, we were servicing over 40 social media management clients, and then we pivoted over to social media coaching alone in 2020. As of March 2020, our monthly recurring revenue was at about $15,000, of which 70% came from social media management services. We went to Dubai with Miami Realtors and YPN, of course, and I was presenting a little bit about Master the Gram. And after 2020, we actually ended up losing all of our clients because of the pandemic. And then I went into real estate in 2021, and I used every single thing, all the skills and everything that I'm going to teach you today. I used it and I apply it to my real estate business. And I was able to grow to sell $13 million on the first 20 months of real estate, and about 65% of that came directly or indirectly through social media, specifically Instagram. So I received the most creatively influenced to share some of the things that I did and about the program that proven to be so effective. A 6-week program. Now we're kind of switching and ramping it to be a 6-hour program. It's the same thing as an hour class. The first one starts with account optimization. And I wanted to share this with you because you have to start from the ground up, right? So a lot of people don't have this the right way. So hopefully you can take some notes and take it back home and work on your Instagram so you can also start getting leads if you're not getting any, or to actually convert them. Our program, we created it for entrepreneurs and network marketers starting to help their social, their sales, and their systems. And we had great results from everybody that came into the program. We had over 25 people graduate from it. We were doing it live, and now that it's being revamped, I'm actually re-recording all the videos to make it specifically for real estate agents. And it'll be a self-study course that you can do at any point in time instead of having to check in with us every single week. So to start, this is the most important thing to start. It's going to be your username and your visibility. It's going to start with your Instagram handle or your ad name. It needs to be simple. Try not to have any periods or dashes or numbers or letters, or, if your name is, like Cindy, you don't want to put, 5 different Y's in the name. It's just hard to find. The best practice for this is to use your name. Prior to my username being cindysummer.re, it was summer.aster, and aster is a flower. And now that I came into real estate, I changed it. There were no other names without the period, so I added the period in this case, but it's pretty simple, very usable. So it's always going to start with your username and the visibility. Your name on Instagram is going to be searchable. This is what we call your bolded name on Instagram. You want to make it generic for someone to be able to find your products and your services. So if you're a real estate agent, for example, of course, we're all here are. If you look here at my Instagram, it says C Summer, which is Cindy Summer. I go by Summer, and I'm a Miami realtor. I could also put Miami real estate agent or real estate agent. But what happens is that someone, when they're looking for you on Instagram, or for anyone for that matter, will either put your ad name if they're looking for you. So in my case, cindysummer.re, or someone who doesn't know me, who may be looking for a Miami realtor, whenever they type the word Miami realtor, I will show up. So I want to show you here what that looks like. So I just went on Instagram, I typed Miami realtor. You can see here at the top where it's circled, and everyone who has in their bolded name the word Miami realtor shows up. And if you notice here, I'm number 2 showing up here. I can't tell you the many times that I asked someone, how'd you find me? And they said, I was searching for Miami realtor on Instagram. You were one of the first ones. I messaged people. You were the first one to answer. Now they're working with me. I'm actually closing on Friday from someone who found me in this way. So this is very, very helpful for you. Your profile picture and biography. You want to keep your profile picture very clear where everyone can see your face. If you're with your dog or you're with your kids or you're very far out where you can see your whole body, I would stay away from that. You want to make sure that they see your face. And if you can put a color behind it, how you see mine over here, that it's like a yellow, it pops out. So it's very easy to find. And that depends on whichever brand color you want to have for yourself if you already have one. Your Instagram bio is going to help profile visitors determine whether they should follow you. So you want to follow the formula here on the right hand side. You want to have a simple username, like I said, a clear picture of your face, and then searchable keywords. You want to add in there who you are, what your purpose is, how you offer value, something personal, memorable about yourself, and a call to action. So I'll put my profile, our So Good Media profile right here as an example. So you can see simple username, So Good Media, which is the name of our company. Funny enough, it came from my partner and I, Tatiana, go to the same church. We used to go to the same church, and we used to say all the time, so good, it's so good, right? And so we actually ended up doing a spin-off from the word so good into making it like if someone was reading it in Spanish, they could read so good, right? Because at that time we were working with only Latinos and it was easy for them to read it. So here you can see we have social media mentors, we're educators, and here, who are we? We teach social media and systems for entrepreneurs and realtors. We are Latina founded, and then we're tagged here. If you have a personal profile for, say you have your personal Instagram, and then you have a business Instagram for your real estate, some people will have like a separate one and then things, etc. Like we have one for Compass. Then what you want to do is go to that like real estate where you're putting all the buildings, the profile, and then tag your personal one. And the reason why you want to do that is because people want to get to know you. If they don't know you, they don't flow you. They cannot identify with just buildings and closed and pending, all that stuff. If it doesn't have anything about your personal life, it's going to be really hard to convert. So I recommend that if you want to keep them separately, then tag your personal Instagram so that they can follow you there and get to know you if you're comfortable enough for that. Here, then you can say we put coming soon, Mastergram 2.0. As Kevin said, we're going to be launching it for real estate agents. And then there's a link there. If you're interested, you can, that would be the call to action, right? To click on that. Any questions so far before I move forward? Okay. You can definitely pause me and ask a question, or if I'm going too fast. The next thing that's going to be really important is going to be your account type. There are 3 different account types on Instagram. You have personal account types, creator account types, and business. I've had real estate agents before when I'm with them and we're talking that they can't put like a music in their stories in the background. They can't put like everyday music. It has to be specific ones. And it's because they didn't realize that their account was under a business account. It limits the music selection, for example, on that. I'm going to start reading on personal here. For users sharing stories and posts about their day-to-day life and do not think of their Instagram account as a personal brand or business. However, if you're just starting off, it's best to leave as personal until you get some traction. So if you're already good on Instagram and you are providing your service as a real estate agent and you have some traction on your Instagram, I recommend that you have your Instagram as a creator account type. And the reason for that is because you can have daily analytics for follower growth. You're a brand already. You can organize your inbox with 3 tabs: primary, general, and requests. And I actually use the inbox for Instagram in order to separate whatever it's just like personal and what's not going to convert to like potential clients, which is really smart way to help to find people and convert them and move them out of Instagram. And you can also remove the click to call and email options from there because you're not a business. And then a business account is going to be for accounts that represent companies that are selling products or services. So my personal account for real estate, which is cindysummer.re, is creator, and then my social media account is a business account. Here you're going to have weekly analytics for follower growth. You can have call to action buttons, including reservations, appointments, learn more, which is the one that I have at social media. So here's how you want to change the account type on your Instagram. And I hope you're getting value on this. A lot of people ask how. If you see here the first picture on the top right-hand side corner, the 3 lines are called a hamburger menu. You click on that hamburger menu, it's going to open up the menu. You're going to click on settings. From settings, you're going to go over to account. You're going to scroll down. Once you go to account and you scroll all the way down, you're going to see where it says switch account. You can see here. Once you click on that, this is going to pop up. If you have it, this is a business account, so it's going to show up switch to personal account or switch to creator account. If you have it in business, if you have it in personal, then it's going to show creator or business. So depending on what you want to do, then you would change it. What I would recommend is if you're starting your brand and you're wanting to attract more people on Instagram, leave it as a personal account as you're building your brand. If it's already built, then switch it over to creator. Unless you have like your other, if you have a separate account for like a team, for example, and then you're posting there just like market updates, then I think it's great for you to have it as a business account because you can put a learn more button, or you can have them, you could do a lead form, or you can attract some names, phone numbers, emails, and they can use that to build your email list, for example. I'm going to go over to highlights and the importance of this. This goes along with your branding on your Instagram. For example, I'm with Compass, and I could have everything black and white on my Instagram. I don't choose to do that because I have my team, and my team has black and white and blue. So I personally like yellows because I'm building my personal brand on my Instagram. So think of highlights like a menu of a website. Right? What are the important things that you want people to know when they're visiting your profile for the first time? What do you offer? Who are you? So here are some examples. Membership, IG news, courses, about us, etc. Here for social media, we have Master the Gram, Instagram tips, about us. On my personal profile, I have different ones. Real estate agents. I have agent live. I have real estate news. Every so often I'm posting about news, and then I put them into a highlight so everyone can always go back and read. I talk a little bit about my city, so I want people to get to know Miami. I talk about pre-construction, and then I have another one for social media. So depending on what your focus is, maybe you focus on first-time home buyers. So you want to put a highlight for first-time home buyers, and they can go through that for, 5 tips that you recommend, and then each highlight is tip 1, tip 2, tip 3, and it's and it could just be like a what do you call it, like a flyer or something along those lines that they can follow. So just depending on what you want to attract to your business and what you want your expertise to be, that's what you want to have in your highlight. As real estate agents, of course, you can sell anything, but when you have a focus, then you can attract more people in that focus. Any questions on this before I move forward? Okay. Lori, were you asking a question? Okay, good. All right. So your call to action. Your call to action is actually supposed to change depending where you are in your business. Throughout different times in your marketing campaign and your efforts, you have different focuses. Don't just sell, you want to add value on whatever you're talking about. Your link in bio shouldn't always be based around taking money, but teaching your audience. For example, I focus a lot on short-term rental condos for investors. A lot of them are in Brickwala. There's also a lot of in downtown. So an example of a call to action that I can use would be put a link for them to download a list of 5 condos that they can find in Brickell that allows short-term rental for investors, right? So that would be a value that I'm adding, and then they would have to put their name and their email to maybe get like the rest of it, or they just get 5 and then I have their information and I can give them a call and connect with them. So other examples would be download a free worksheet like the one that I just mentioned, register for a free workout. Perhaps you want them to register for a first time home buyer seminar that you're launching, and then because that's your focus, and then people will join to learn the the basics of buying a home. Something about reading a blog. It could be DM for info. It could be join the wait list. As I'm launching Master the Gram for Realtors, if you're interested in that, I would put something like join the wait list, even though we haven't launched it yet. Maybe you want to grow your YouTube channel. You want them to take a quiz to get feedback, right? Perhaps anything along those lines. Your call to action can change based on what you're working on at that moment. So here is a little bit about Master the Gram for Realtors. This was optimization, which is the first one. As I used everything that I was teaching here at Master the Gram, as you can see, I was able to start growing my Instagram a lot more, having 65,000 views on this video. One thing to be very focused on your Instagram is you want to take advantage of what's happening in the market. So this specific video happened right before the hurricane, the last hurricane, I already forgot the name, was coming. I did it about like 3 days before it was supposed to hit. And I talked about 5 things that you should do to prepare for a possible hurricane. That came because a lot of my clients, I do a lot of relocations. A lot of my clients were calling me, asking me if they should be worried about the hurricane coming, because they were coming from California, they were coming from Canada, and other cities and states that have never experienced a hurricane. So I said, you know what? All these clients are asking this. I'm going to put together a video that's going to help my viewers. And I also sent it to my clients. And it got shared and shared until it got 65,000 views. Another example is, as interest rates were changing, we went from having pretty much a seller's market to a buyer's market, right? And that in that transition, I wanted to talk about when is the best time to buy. You want to buy when interest rates are high. You want to buy when competition is high. And because it was right in the time that people were asking so many questions, and I launched that video, it also got 11,000 views. So in our program, Master the Gram, basically we teach you about branding, about how to show up, about how to take advantage of what's happening in the market, and how to brand yourself. That's basically what we do for Master the Gram. And if you're a little bit more interested about how you can learn a little bit more about it, if you go to our Instagram bio, there is a link there where you can learn a little more about it. And these are how you can connect with us on Instagram, cindysummer.re, Tatiana Open Media, and that we'd love to open the tips you may want.
I want your
Thank you.
opinion on something. So I know that, of course, Facebook and Instagram are very, they're owned by the same company now, and they decided to go down the route of paying the subscription for the blue check mark. Do you think that's going to benefit a lot of us in the real estate industry? Because there is a lot of agents that get these fake accounts. Example, it's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of agents at Douglas Elliman and Compass, that these people are going out there using our photos and trying to get our leads coming into our inbox. What's your opinion on paying for the blue check mark?
If you have it in your budget, I think it's helpful. If it's something you want to pay for, it's to, I've heard horror from other agents. It's happened that they've reached and wanting to get my, and it was not directly. Check mark, we know any other account stories, this is the where you reach me. I don't think there's 3-4 people with your information out there and your photos. I don't think that it's worth paying the $12 a month in order to have the blue check mark. But if you're someone out there that you have already like 5, 6, 7 accounts existing of people with your pictures, I think it's worth paying for it. Because at the end of the day, it's your business, you're creating a brand, and it could be detrimental for your business and you.
Thank you. Another thing I wanted to bring up, and I know that you mentioned this in the slides, how when you have your bold name, you always add like Miami Real Estate, Miami Realtor, South Florida Realtor, so you can get brought up in that. What's going on is, and this is just something that I actually had to fix on mine, because mine used to be Tyler Anderson Miami Real Estate. They wouldn't give you the blue check mark unless it matched your ID, because you have to upload your ID to Instagram and Facebook to get the blue check mark. They make you take away the Miami Real Estate.
And what is your Instagram name?
What?
What is your ad name? Username?
So my username is Mr. Period Tyler Anderson. Then it used to, my bold name used to be Tyler Anderson Miami Real Estate. But for me to get the blue check mark, because there's so many fake accounts using my photos, I had to delete Miami Real Estate for it to match my Florida ID for me to get verified.
Right. So you already got verified.
I got verified yesterday. They emailed me asking me, because so many people were using my photos. And then I said, well, how much is this going to cost? And they said $14 a month. So then I'm like, it's not that bad, because I know a lot of people out there go, and you're going to laugh, but a lot of these influencers pay $40,000, $50,000 and they pay Instagram to get a blue check mark.
They were paying more than that, like $10,000, like
It's
thousands of dollars to get a blue
ridiculous.
check. Yeah. But once they have it, What
Oh,
I
yeah.
would recommend in your case, because you had to do that, I would put in the category, I would put real estate agent. You
Okay.
know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Okay, so put real estate agent in the category of your profile. And then in the description, just put it in there. You can also use hashtags in your bio, and those hashtags are searchable. So you can
All right.
put like in the bio, hashtag Miami Realtor.
Got it. I appreciate you.
Good question.
Okay, so while anybody else has any additional questions, I am going to go ahead and re-put the link into the chat now. If you wouldn't mind rating this instruction, I found it extremely informative. Summer, thank you so much. And this is just a fragment of her masterclass. So Summer, while I'm filling out stuff in the chat, if anybody else needs your services or anything else, how can they get a hold of you?
Or like either the social media or the DM, or they can just email me or call me. I'll put my information help, so you can
Excellent,
have
yeah.
it.
Please.
A lot of people also, just to mention, I use Instagram because it's my my preferred method of social media. But there's a lot of that you can do with Facebook. If you prefer Facebook, it would be something very similar. You just want to keep the branding the same everywhere else. Use the same colors. Use the same picture in your LinkedIn, that the same picture that you have in Facebook, same picture that you have on Instagram. It's about brand recognition. So I would recommend keeping the same colors, the same photos, the same bio, and then just optimize it depending on the social media account. You want recognition more than anything, so that people remember you and they keep you top of mind.
Yeah, that's great. Brand continuity is super important for sure. Okay, well, the link is in the chat, and while Cindy is uploading her contact information and everything else, please click the link, please rate the speaker, and I think it's a fantastic class. Cindy, will definitely be utilizing your wisdom and expertise throughout the year. And Cindy is also a YPM Pro ambassador.
Yes.
If you want more information about joining our ambassador program, let me know and I'll get you connected with that link as well. We are offering a lot of great different experiences with our events for our ambassadors, and we'll continue to grow the program. So if you're interested in joining, please let me know at any time.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, always. And And we look forward to having you on for a longer class later this year. This was super informative. Hopefully everybody else found some value. By the way, it looks like I'm a creator account, so I don't know why it's not letting me have a broadcast group, but I'll just have to look more into it.
I'll look into it for you and I'll get back to you.
All right, appreciate it. Any other questions for Cindy before we move ahead of schedule? Well, Cindy, thank you so much for your time. This was fantastic. And Tyler, I believe you're up next. Are you okay with going a little early ahead of 2:30?
That's fine. I'm ready to go.
All righty, I'm gonna make you co-host in case you need any, if you want to have any control over the Zoom, you should be co-host now. So please, if anybody is interested in joining the ambassador program, message me a link. Tyler's actually an ambassador with the Miami residential program. Before you get into the conversation, do you want to talk about your experience there? Because there's also the opportunity to become ambassadors there as well.
It's great. This is my first year doing it. So a lot of events, amazing support, great networking, which is our favorite thing to do as realtors and business owners. We love to network and meet other people. I have nothing negative to say, and Maggie is awesome. Our contact over there.
Yeah, Maggie is great. And she's also in professional standards. So when you don't see her when you see her outside of the professional standards world, you're doing all right. It's just sometimes when you're seeing her in the professional standards world, stay out of trouble so you don't see Maggie and our chief of legal. So, okay, with that, I am going to share the ambassador link to one person who asked. And Tyler, the floor is yours. Tyler will be talking today about challenges for a realtor's first 2 years in the business. Tyler, thank you so much for your time. The floor is yours. And you have a little more than 30 minutes if you'd like. No pressure either way. But because we found out that Alex actually was in a car accident, and that's why he was unable to present today. So that's why we're ahead of schedule. And so the floor is yours, Tyler. Take as much time as you need. Thank you so much for presenting today.
I wanted to bring this topic up because everyone in this room has been a realtor, and who remembers when they first got their license? And everyone's excited. Everyone can't wait to go sell those high-end properties. But then we start making our moves, and after that 2-year mark being a realtor, we forget what the new realtors have to go through to hit that mark of that 24 months up to 3 years, because South Florida is such a different type of market than your small states, Massachusetts, Atlanta, things like that. But a little bit about me is I actually used to be a sales director for a development company based out of Texas. I had 56 properties across the country. I had over 50 employees under me. And what I used to do is I used to go train and develop them on how to sell our product. And when I was in their sales and marketing and teaching those agents how to sell our product, I used to coach them. And I think the number there's a lot of struggles that these new agents come into. And one of them is time management, because time management for our type of job is so key. And a lot of people, especially I see in South Florida, go get their real estate license because the expectation is that they have a lot of time on their hands and they can kind of do whatever they want. Who agrees with me on that? They think they can wake up at 11 o'clock. They think they can go to the gym at 1, and they think they're going to have a lease or they're going to have a deal by 3 o'clock. But it's not, that's not the truth. The truth is that time management is so important in our type of job that we need to teach these new agents that getting up at 5 o'clock, going to the gym at 6 a.m. and being in the office by 9 a.m. is the expectation on how to be successful in our type of business. Number 2, it's a numbers game. And a lot of people have expectation in making a large income immediately. And especially South Florida with our price points, because our commission on a $1 million condo is around $36,000. So they think if they can do 2 of those a year, they're going to be set for life. But with the cost of income, the cost of rental, and the inflation of everything going on in our world right now, can you live off of $63,000, $65,000 a year being a luxury real estate agent in Miami? No, it's just not. It's not a doable type of thing. Number 3 is the new agents need to learn how to understand their split, because people don't understand how much money they're giving back to the broker and how much money needs to go into your marketing, your insurance, your business expenses, everything, taking your clients out, everything. People think they're just going to make all this money, and people don't understand the split of the broker. You're really giving a lot of money to your broker. But is your broker giving you the support that you deserve with that 70 split or that 65 split because you're brand new? Number 4, landing the deal. It takes anywhere from 30 to 60 days to land the deal. And you're not going to get a phone call from a new client the minute you receive that piece of paper that you passed your test. So what can we do as an association or even YPN to train these new agents that it's going to take a minimum of anywhere from 6 to 12 months to even land your first deal? Everybody in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, Boca, West Palm knows 5 realtors. What makes you different than that other realtor? What's your niche? Like, I know Cindy's amazing on social media. I know there's a lot of agents that strictly only deal with new development. I know agents that strictly only deal with, they call themselves gems. They want houses that are built in the 80s, and they can go in there and they can convince their client to go in there and remodel that home, and they give them the GC, they give them the electrician, they do everything for them. So it's like a package deal. Number 5, I would say this was the hardest for me, and I hope everyone else can agree, is stop taking things personally, because our line of business is huge with rejection, and it's a heavy environment of the word no. But I'm going to call somebody out. I'm going to call us out Cindy. Cindy, personally, what was the biggest rejection that you've had in your career, especially coming from a social media branding campaign type of environment? When you switched over and you went to Compass, what was the hardest thing that you had to deal with?
Well, it's my first and only, because I've only been in the business 2 years. But I think the biggest thing is having them see me as I'm like the person helping you, right? Coming in new, because I talk so much about Compass, or talk about so much about my team. You know, they say, what about your team? What about this person? Like, I had to focus a lot on getting the expertise myself and doing a lot of education myself so that they can see me as the expert.
Understood. So there's another fellow friend that I've seen in this as well, and I'm going to call her out as well. Giselle Hernandez. What was the biggest struggle when you first got your license?
I would say having support from my my broker early on.
Okay.
And I ended up leaving that broker and moving over to the team that I'm on now, who I absolutely love, because I feel like I receive all the support that I was looking for and that I needed and need.
Awesome. I appreciate. Thanks for the participation. So the next thing is to seek to understand. You need to know your people, the sales, and the psychology when purchasing one of the biggest things that they've ever purchased. That's where you can't take things personal. So you may have a best friend that you're doing a listing for, and that best friend, when it comes to business, could be the worst person to do business with. How do you deal with that? So what I started doing with this is I started working on my mental health. So I had one of my clients, it was a referral, and It was a 1.89 deal at One Paraiso in Edgewater waterfront 3-bedroom. I was so excited because I was almost at that 2 mil mark. I'm like, this is going to be one of my biggest in my career. It was the most mental draining deal I've ever dealt with. And I had days of no sleep. This guy, this individual called me 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, asking me questions. It caused actually him to end up in Mount Sinai when he came to look at the unit. He was in the hospital for 2.5 weeks because this guy drove himself right into the water. Because he just drove everybody, the lender, my broker, myself, assistants, Douglas Elliman, everybody into the ground. And he caused so many people to have this deal be as difficult as possible. And I think a lot of agents are dealing with that as well, because the demands when it comes to luxury, you're going from, back in the day, a luxury unit in Miami was $2 million. But unfortunately, that's the new normal here when it comes to your luxury deals. Luxury is anywhere over $5-6 million. 7, patience. Like I said at the beginning of the slide, patience is key because you're going to deal with many different difficult, challenging personalities. And that's all walks of life. You have to remember, we live in a melting pot type of city. So we have people from all around the country, all around the world coming to Miami. And you're going to deal with different cultures, beliefs, everything. But what can we do to help train those new individuals on not having to deal with the hardship? We're really paving the way for the future for these new realtors. And that also includes having the self-confidence in yourself. People at some point will not have that self-confidence because they don't have the experience, and it's a fear. So when you get that lead of $8 million, you're afraid to do that deal for $8 million if you don't have the support, because you just feel like you can't handle that client. But you have to also remember, it's just a dollar. It's just a dollar sign. Every deal is the same. It's just a dollar. And the number one, and Giselle brought this up, the number one is making sure you're with the appropriate broker. So a little bit about me. I started with a larger broker based out of New York when I first moved here. It was not a fit. The broker said to me when I first walked in to that meeting is, you don't know Miami. Why should I even hire you? How do you think that made me feel as a new agent trying to get into the Miami market? It was a little bit of a stab. Didn't feel good. I said, you know what? I got to prove this lady wrong. So I ended up staying with the broker for about 9 months. And then I decided to go with a smaller brokerage, which was a boutique broker under 12 agents. The first 3 weeks was amazing. I was the shadow of that broker. But then when I started gradually growing, I feel that I was a competition to the broker, and that broker no longer wanted to help me anymore. And the broker didn't want to help me anymore because guess what? I was his competition. So my best recommendation for a new agent would be, don't go with a broker that's also your competition. You want to go with a broker who's going to pick up the phone and support you because they're not your competition. And that's going to be your bigger brokers, your DE, Sotheby's, Compass. Those are my brokers that I always recommend starting as a new agent. But the hard thing is getting into one of those because you have to know somebody. I think Giselle and I think even Cindy and maybe Anna can even vouch for me. When you have departments, you have the new dev department, you have PR, you have your broker who you can just call, you have your sales managers, you have other agents in there who want you to be successful, because when you join that brokerage, you're joining a family and you want your family to be the number one. Am I wrong or right? So I'm going to actually call on Anna right now.
Yes, me, Anna.
Anna, when you joined Sotheby's, was that your first route, or was that your second or your third broker when you joined Sotheby's?
No, that was actually my second broker. I was initially with Remax Advance in South Miami, but the pandemic happened and, the office was located in South Miami. and I wanted to be closer to agents. So I decided that I will have to move, although I loved the brokerage. It was, as you're saying, it was like a family oriented brokerage. Everyone was supporting each other. Everyone was there for each other. But I just needed to have the communication with agents. So I moved to Sotheby's, and the scenario is pretty similar. It's just, for me, the convenience was much better, and also the brand image of what I'm doing supports more my vision. So those were like the two criterias. But I was very, very lucky, because the first thing that I did was join the Remax, and I got so much training over there, so much development. Like, for sure, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for their support.
Appreciate it. And that's really the wrap. So I just wanted to bring that to an awareness of us that have been in the business for longer than 2 years, the struggles of a brand new agent and why none of them make it. And that's what I wish we could figure out a way as leaders, as the community, and YPM and the Miami real estate, Miami Realtors. How can we do more trainings, more beneficial trainings? Because some of these brokers don't promote what YPN and the Miami Realtors have. You guys have trainings almost every day. You look at the calendar, but how can we get these brokers and hold them accountable for getting them to say, go log into the Miami Realtors, go to one a week, or getting them to teamed up with a great mentor? Because I have a lot of people that reach out to me on social media. They're like, I just want a 15-minute phone call with you. I want to pick your brain. I always pick up the phone, because I remember when I first started, nobody picked up the phone. No one wanted to help me.
Tyler,
Hi, Susan.
thank you. Hi. I completely agree with you. And I remember when I started, nobody really wanted to help, which was weird. So I'm like, I just got my license. I'm so excited. What do I do first? And there isn't any program or system like that completely. And unfortunately, a lot of the brokerages now, they are not realtor friendly. They're more like realtor bring the money friendly, but there's not always a lot of support. And I've been with different brokerages. But it would be really good if the broker, or however their team is structured, to assist agents and have a coach and use those resources to help the agents.
100% agree. When I was at my little boutique firm, y'all are probably going to laugh, but when I picked up the phone and called my broker for something, I couldn't get him on the phone. And 2-3 days go by, still no response. And I'm giving him almost 30% of a commission on a $1.3 million deal, but I can't get him to pick up the phone. That to me, guys, doesn't make any sense. We have to hold those brokers accountable to pick up the phone and to help these new agents, because if we groom these new agents, it's only going to make our markets look better. Guys, right now, we're the #1 in the country. If you think about it, we're still above average. Even if it's 1%, 0.5%, we're still above. And when people call me, they're like, do you think the market's going to crash? I said, no, not in Miami. It's the truth. So what I started doing was just picking up the phone for these new agents. And these new agents are from these small brokers. And we have to find a way to hold these brokers accountable that are at a smaller scale to assist these people.
In addition, it's like our professional standards, for some reason, it appears like it has weakened. Yes, there's many agents that step up above, and they're, I wouldn't say beyond reproach, because everyone can be critiqued on anything, and you have to accept it constructively and see what needs to be amended. But I feel like for some reason, some of the professionalism has been at a decline.
100%.
Can I add something to it too? It's
Yes,
not only also about brokers, but when you get teams like internally, I see that a lot of the team leaders also they fail to motivate, their team members. So I would focus on both sides of the aspect.
so I agree with that. And there's some things I think when it comes to super luxury, and Anna and of course Cindy with Mike and Ivan can vouch for it, but I was doing a deal and it was $45,000 a month on Hibiscus Island. The agent never even showed up and goes, the keys under the mat. I have a client spending $45,000 a month. I've never been in this house once, and you can't show up for a showing.
In reality, it doesn't even matter if it's 45,000 per month or 2,000. Like you should be there. That's your job. It doesn't
Exactly.
matter. It's the value that you're giving to the client, and it doesn't matter because today they might be buying, a $300,000 home, and in 5 years' time they might buy with you a $4 million home. You never know.
Yep. 100% agree. And something that I also learned is if you show up to every showing, I always get a little bit more than asking, because I try to create that relationship with that buyer or that renter for my listings as well. And then they don't rent or buy the unit, guys. They buy us, or they rent from us. They really kind of give us everything, and we have to guide them through the process and make it as seamless as possible. But if any more questions, just let me know, and you can reach out to me on social media, and I will always pick up the phone. And if I don't answer, text me, and I'll always text you back.
Beautifully said. Yeah, not enough people answer their phone. And it's so funny. People always talk about differentiators being that they just simply are available and that they pick up the phone, because there are a lot of people that are unfortunately unavailable for one reason or another. So huge importance to bring that up. Being available can get you a lot further in this industry than you may think. You think it might just be the industry standard, but sometimes it's really not. Anybody else have any other questions for Tyler?
It's not a question, but it's feedback.
Please.
There's two things that you mentioned there, Tyler, that I hadn't thought about. That was like very helpful when you talked about a colleague of yours doing the gems for the homes. Just like thinking of how many different opportunities we have as real estate agents to focus on something. So that was helpful, giving somebody the whole package, right? Because we already work with these people. So there's an opportunity to brand yourself as that way. And then you said that luxury is not luxury only. It's like 5 million and up is luxury. I hadn't thought about it that way either. So just wanted to thank you for sharing that.
I think when it comes to luxury in Miami, I actually have a client who bought in the Satai when it was first being developed. He bought a 2-2 oceanfront for $750,000. Guess how much he could sell it for right now?
4.
Think about it. Satai. There's no price tag to it. He goes, why would I even sell it? I'm like, don't. But we have to remember, back in the day, that was $750 was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're spending that much money. But look at it now. You have all these new devs. You have the Shore Club coming. You have the towers in Sunny Isles, Bentley. You have everything. Guys, those are insane. That's insane luxury. That's super luxury. New York doesn't even have that type of stuff. We're gifted. We're gifted with everything.
Agreed. It's really cool to see everything popping up.
Well, I appreciate your time, everybody.
Yes, excellent
Great
work.
presentation.
And yeah, this will go really far and in a lot of agents' careers. So we look forward to having you back in the future. I have put Tyler's link if you want to provide any feedback, just like Cindy did, but you don't want to say it on camera, perfectly fine. We have a link available for you to click to rate the presentation, provide any constructive feedback, and we will share it with the presenters before they have a full hour to present later on this year. So with that, we're going to have about a 5 to 10 minute break. Daniel is getting situated right now, so we'll have his presentation coming up shortly. Please don't go anywhere. His topic is sharing innovative ways to take listings and the secret social media strategies that go along with them. So another great way to improve your business, another great way to sharpen your social media skills, coming up here in about 9 minutes. So hang tight, fill out the form, and we'll be right back. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll get started here probably in about 8 minutes now. We'll talk to you soon. And Tyler, thanks again for everything, man. Really grateful.
Anything you need.
Yeah, and hey, fun fact. So how this all started and how we got Tyler on the program, he really is available. I think I texted him at midnight. I was still in the office working on some stuff. And of course he texted me within 5 minutes. It was actually really beautiful. So we always like to think and idealize that 9 to 5 is the way to go, but it doesn't always work out like that. And so when you are available, while you may not want to answer the phone like he did at 3 a.m, especially with a problematic client, I guess you really don't have a choice though if you want the deal to go through. It is really beneficial to be available because you never really know what's out there and who's trying to reach out to you. Ooh, look at that step and repeat.
Yeah, buddy.
Looking good.
Thank you.
All right. So our next presenter, and sorry if I say your last name wrong, Daniel, is Daniel Fleishchman. He's with Daniel Coaches and Trains, and he teaches on real estate, marketing, social media, and advanced business strategies. Daniel's facilitated and presented at live events with some huge names. We're talking Tony Robbins, Chet Holmes, Steve Harvey, Jordan Belford, and many more. Today, he'll be presenting on innovative ways to take listings and secret social media strategies. So with no further ado, Daniel, thank you so much for your time. We're looking forward to adding you on to the Miami YPN educational circuit. Your time starts now. You got about 45 minutes, so take your time, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Okay, 2:45. Kevin, thank you so much. We've went back and forth so much, and I know I've tried to add value. Hopefully, you connected with a few people that I kicked over to join the YPN, and I'm super excited to be here. So anyway, if we have a round of applause for Kevin, we appreciate you, man. You do. I see you all over social media, everywhere, doing it up. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. So you can drop in the chat or you can unmute if you want to be interactive. It's totally more fun if we're interactive. Obviously, work with this tall guy named Tony Robbins. He said, Daniel, you'll make more money if you participate more. I said, okay, I want to make more money. But anyway, does anybody want to learn today some really cool ways to take more listings and to do it with like less cold calling and like less cold door knocking? Muy bien? Okay. All right. Awesome. All right, let's get rocking here. We're going to skip a few things. This is like a 60 to 90 minute presentation. So we're going to hit some of the highlights here. So let's start with, I appreciate you. That's a good meme. This was our presentation last year. So we've updated it quite a bit, different market, right? But I don't know if you like this headline, let me know. How to instantly know when homes are ready to be listed before your competition, and then ethically be able to take these listings first. And you can even start if you're new with little to no marketing budget and then simple step-by-step instructions. Not too bad, right? I got to deliver on it. So I'm going to skip through. I'm going to skip a few things here. Oh, if you want to have a little bit of fun though, does anybody have a favorite real estate meme? It's like, yeah, of course his commission's lower. He's using an iPhone for that. You gotta have fun. My mentors also told me you make more money if you have a little bit of fun. So we're gonna keep rocking here. Let me fast forward. I think this is my most up-to-date presentation. Yeah, actually, who was on last? I was listening to part of it. That was help me out with the name, Kevin. That was I was trying to have the Tyler. Yeah, Tyler was so right. Was he talking about people not picking up their phone? So Tyler and whoever did Instagram right before that, sorry that I don't have your name, both fantastic. And I think you had great points. Tyler, I'm going to piggyback if I can. So check this out. If anybody does public speaking, make sure to throw up your favorite social media. That is my Instagram at dfly7 and at Exponential Business Coaching. It's not just a plug. My first rental property, and maybe I'm going to look old, but I had to pay $500 for black and white in the newspaper. Like it was like 05. I was like, how else would I get this thing rented? But now, if we're social media producers like Kevin, like a lot of people on this call, you can have millions of people or at least hundreds of thousands see you for free. So if you do public speaking, whether it's the Chamber or YPN, I'd say throw up your social media. Hopefully that's compliant, but I'm telling you that you should do that. Second PSA, Tyler is spot on. The National Association of Realtors says the #1 unspoken complaint from sellers and buyers, Tyler hit it on the head, that my agent won't communicate with me, won't pick up the phone. And I get it. We're sick and tired of who still gets the extended car warranty calls? I'm like, yes, I have an extended car warranty. They're kind of ruining it for us, but I have some workarounds, okay? But I'll tell you, the Tyler's talking about 2 to 5 million and up properties. They're not going to send you this meme. It's not happening. They're also not going to send you this meme. Don't use that unless if someone hasn't hit you back in 3 weeks. I can't remember if I ever had to send it to Kevin. That one is a good Hail Mary, though. It actually works. It's just too playfully persistent. So that one actually does work pretty fantastic. So anyway, PSA, pick up the phone. You'll take more listings, increase your GCI. I couldn't agree more. Let's get into some fun stuff here. Who wants to know a trend that I think is emerging that can help you get a windfall of business, at least just for a few agents in the next year or two? Does anybody want it? You want that one? You can drop in the comments, or I'm not texting, by the way. I like to have my Zoom on 2 devices here, so I'm just trying to log back in so I can see any comments or anything. So who here knows who Gary Vaynerchuk is? You can drop in the comments or you can unmute. I'm guessing a lot of us have heard of Gary V, right? First time I met him was 2009 in Las Vegas. There's this 60, 70-year-old lady in the front row, and he's yelling at her. Her name's Ruthie. Kevin, do we swear here? We don't swear, do we? I'm quoting Gary V.
Yeah, if you're quoting Gary V, I think it's fair. Go ahead.
He's like, Ruthie, effing Ruthie. He's like dropping the F-bomb, the 70-year-old lady. I'm like, who is this guy? 09, like who had really heard of him, right? So anyway, but he's pretty legit, and he has a lot of look, I called him at the time after going to that event, and then several years later, looking back at my notes, he was the oracle of the internet at the time. He might still be. Do you know when he made his first video? It was like 1996. Who was making vlogs or vlogs in like 1996, right? Other than Gary V. Probably why he's worth 250 million. So, but this trend I think is emerging, and it's kind of related to that. So I coach the Mike Cal team in Southern California, and I work with them. I call Mike a slacker. Look at this, 380 reviews, 117 sales in the last 12 months, 5-star, right? Anyway, I'm just kidding. He does pretty good. He's a great guy. He has about 10 agents on his team, but he gets tons of listings from his Zillow reviews, Realtor reviews, Google reviews. And I'm sure if you have a lot of positive reviews, you might resonate with that, right? Yeah, cool. I'm going to admit my other self in here. So I can just, okay, cool. Now I have both. We got it. So with that being said, perfect. I believe that the newspaper business is dead or dying. And I think, here's what's going to happen. I think Amazon and YouTube are already beta testing video reviews. If you go to Mike Cal's,
Mike Cal with
there he is, right? Did that audio come through, by the way, Kevin? Oh, I know you stepped out for a second. So he already has 6 or 7 video reviews. If you go to the Mike Chow team, he has them from buyers, sellers, and vendors. My prediction, it might make me the Nostradamus of real estate this year. We'll see. That Zillow or Realtor, one of the big ones, is going to launch video reviews. Okay. People don't want to read the newspaper. And from what I understand, people don't even want to read video on a website anymore. So anyway, if that does happen, think how long it's going to take other agents to catch up. Months. I think they will promote you and it'll be, you know what I mean? So the trend is your friend, but if you get ahead of a trend, you could be like Gary V. Kevin, good stuff, right? So anyway, if we have time at the end, I'll show you how you can get those most of the time. That's the biggest objection. It costs no money and it's something you can do very powerful. A lot of agents are like, Daniel, but what if Zillow and Realtor don't launch the video? Did I waste my time? No, you can ask Kevin, I think I did this. After every meeting that I set, I set the meeting. You know what else I do after that? I send a calendar invite. $2 to $5 million properties. You think they don't run their life off of a calendar? I guarantee they do. And you know what's interesting about sending a calendar invite? Once it's on your calendar, although mine doesn't have a lot of open space on there, is like, they don't even look. Like if somebody else calls and you have them at 2 tomorrow for the showing or for the listing appointment presentation, they see that it's taken. So it'll really exponentially increase your show rate. So send those calendar invites. If you don't know how to, go on YouTube, because like there's a time in my life when I didn't know how to, right? But with that being said, so immediately when I set the listing appointment, when I set a meeting, I'm going to send the calendar invite and I'm going to immediately text them video reviews. And I mean, Kevin, would you agree? Not many agents in South Florida, anywhere in the country, are doing that yet. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so you can get way ahead of that trend. So it's kind of cool. So that one's kind of fun. Now let's get into the good stuff here. So I don't know if anybody remembers the actor Michael Douglas. He was in the movie Wall Street, not the one with Shia LaBeouf, like the OG original one. I'm dating myself. 2 quotes I love from that movie. One is, I don't want to throw darts at a board. I only want to bet on a sure thing. Okay, like investing in yourself. That's one way to do it. The other quote in the movie is going to be that information is the most valuable commodity I know of. Now, I didn't say asset. I think the most valuable asset are relationships. I'll take relationships over real estate, gold, Bitcoin, Monero, whatever, right? Even Robert Kiyosaki said that, author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. If he lost everything, he'd just call his friends, he'd be right back. So anyway, I have a systematic approach here to taking listings. So yeah, that's Tim Grover. We'll skip Tim Grover for now, but he's cool. Okay, Rosemarie, should we let her in? I think we should let her in. Okay. I'm going to jump forward here just a little bit, just so that we have, okay, this is my most recent version. I think so. Here's what I'm going to do. Let's back it up here for 1 second. Again, trying to go at a little bit faster than normal to add some value here. All right, here's what we're going to do today. So let me go ahead and tell you the systematic approach. I think the agents on this call might appreciate it, but I'm going to deep dive a little bit further. So look, you know who I want to be reaching out to? I want to reach out to people that need to or want to sell their house. Fair? And if you watch HBO, I have some young agents. They're like, yeah, I want whales, sharks, and ballers. If you watch Ballers on HBO, you got to have some fun. Now, also, believe it or not, there's some email marketing that's working for us that's getting agents listing appointments, listings. And you know what's great? I do love direct mail, but how much is 10,000 pieces of direct mail? 6-7 grand minimum. How much is 10,000 emails? MailChimp, $50. So like email's great. You either get the listing with the campaign or you didn't spend 50 grand on a bunch of marketing that didn't work. So we're going to hit that. Next is a little bit of video marketing and sales funnel. I won't get too tech savvy. The next one, if you don't have LinkedIn or if you don't have the app on your phone, you might want to download it. Who would like to learn how to use LinkedIn so that you never have to cold call ever again? Or at least 90% of the time. Yes. So we're going to hit that right now. So listen, the goal would be to get inbound calls or emails, or what if somebody checked all these boxes? What if somebody definitely wanted to or needed to sell? They got your emails, direct mail, saw you online, maybe even have some mutual connections on LinkedIn. Would anybody pick up that call or take that call? Yes? Oh, we got some comments. Kevin, should we check those? What do we got? Oh, we got yeses. Boom. Thank you. Okay, cool. Just checking those out. So here's what I want to do as well. Does anybody think they can get 1% better at anything in life? Your listing presentation, your call? Yeah. So here's what's cool. If you look at my symbol behind me, if you are able to get 1% better per day at anything in life, it follows the exponential curve. So what's cool is it's really about just showing up every day. And I think Tyler was kind of iterating, time management, getting out there. You're not going to work 16 hours a week and probably crush it at real estate, right? He's spot on with that. He's spot on. So let me see if I can get my most recent presentation here. I just paused the screen, see what we can do. Because actually, yeah, I have some new stuff. I had a broker that has been doing this 25 years out in Ormond Beach. I just came back and she's like, Daniel, that's genius. I don't know why I never thought of that before. So it looks like the newest one here is loading. So we'll give that a second to, there we go, running out of internet. Cool. Anyone else hate the Zoom update, by the way? It's like kind of ridiculous, right? It's like, I don't need a mustache and goggles and everything. I don't need all that. Okay, cool. So here's where we go. We're going to hit. Okay. My presentations are 5 to 6 gigs, but it'll be worth it here. Just cue Jeopardy music. Okay, here we go. Alex, I'll take the rapist for 1,000. That's therapist. Oh, okay. So anybody remember Celebrity Jeopardy? Okay. Trying to kill time.
It was great.
Yeah, no, I do miss some Celebrity Jeopardy. All right, cool. Here we go. I think we got it. We'll see if it's going to work. Okay, it's somewhat loading. We can see part of it. All right, here we go. Boom. So look, anybody read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People or heard of Stephen Covey? Yeah? So he has this saying, begin with the end in mind. Look, if you want to take listings, by the way, actually, this would be a great poll. Let me pause for 1 second. Who on this call is buying leads right now? Can you drop in the comments or raise your hand, or so like shouting out Cindy, Tyler, Yvonne, Alfred, Anna, Ashley, Diana, Eduardo, Enrique. There's too many people to name it. Lynn, Lana. Is anybody buying leads? Looks like we got one person that said they are. Who is that, Kevin? Ashley's not. Okay.
Looks like maybe Cindy. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what time she
It
dropped
looks
that
like
in.
most
Okay.
people,
Have in the past. Okay.
most people are not.
Which is fine. Listen, I want to get you better listing leads than you can buy from Zillow for free. Is that cool? Boom. Let's do it. So look, begin with the end in mind. I would love input on this next screen. This is where I think 90% of the listings are coming from in 2023. So here's what we got. Expireds are ticking up. FSBOs, there's some, Kevin, but it's not a lot, right? And you know what, Kevin, I'll have to share with you and only on one-on-one calls, but I do have a FSBO. You can be the first one to get some of the FSBOs in your market, but that has to be on a one-on-one call. So there's your clickbait on that one.
Yeah,
The
right.
next two is, has anybody heard that divorces and deaths are through the roof? Anybody heard about this? Like through the roof, tremendous. So I've just met an agent in Southern California, Laurel Starks. She gets 115 listings per year from divorce attorneys. Now I know even in Miami, you can't live on 115 listings a year, but it's a good start, isn't it? I'm kidding, obviously, right? But so look, divorces are huge, and there's tons of reasons why you might think that market's difficult to break into. I believe I've cracked the code on it. We're going to jump into that in a second. Real estate investors as well. Does anybody on the call have a favorite shark from the Shark Tank? Anybody have a favorite? Kevin, who's yours?
The lady from New York that has a gold heart. I can't think of her name.
Barbara, Lori?
Corcoran.
Corcoran.
It's Barbara.
Yeah, Corcoran. Yeah, Barbara's cool. No, she's cool for sure. So I grew up in Pittsburgh, so I like Mark Cuban and then Damon John. He's my uncle's favorite. He's probably, I don't know, they're tied in my mind. Damon John's the man, class act. So I don't know Damon personally. I've been to some events with him, but we did have a similar business mentor. His name was Jay Abraham. Jay said this: there's only 3 ways to make more money in business, and nobody's ever been able to refute it. Here's what they are. You either have more clients. Number one is you have more clients. Number two is going to be that you're going to have higher transactions, or in our case, maybe GCI would be an indicator. The third is tough in residential real estate. It's you increase the frequency of purchase or doing business. It can be tough, but you know where you can change that? Real estate investors, divorce attorneys, and then even high net worth probate and estate attorneys. Everybody tracking like a tank? Yeah? Okay, cool. So now here's the thing that I just shared with 20 brokers been in the business in Southeast Florida, like Ormond Beach for 25 years. I told her this, Kevin, do we have some multifamily and or commercial agents that are part of the group?
It's going to be mostly residential here.
Mostly residential. Okay, cool. Well, if you do dive into commercial, a few things. 1031 exchanges, they're trying to, everyone knows what FOMO stands for, right? FOMO, the fear of missing out, right? There's FOMO on 1031. If you Google it, they're trying to get it out of the tax code. 1031, just really quick, if you don't know, say you bought a property for $1 million and it's not your primary residence, it goes up in value to $5 million and you want to roll that into a $10 million deal. The 1031 exchanges would allow you to not pay capital gains on that gain from the 5 million minus 1 million. And then of course you have to recapture depreciation and all those type of things. But anyway, you'd be able to like not pay capital gains on a ton of money that you could then roll into a new project, which is kind of cool. So if anybody does do multifamily or commercial, man, you really should be talking to investors right now about the FOMO with the 1031. What you could do though is in most markets in the country, absentee owners or out-of-state owners or investors comprise about 20% of the transactions in any given market. So that is a pretty cool search that you can do as well. Kevin, is most everybody, which is everyone in the same MLS and YPN, you think?
Yeah, this was an exclusive for Miami Realtors.
Got it. So you have the program Remine or Remine Pro, yes?
They do.
By the way, I don't work for Remine. I don't work for LinkedIn. I don't work for Google. One of my haters called Remine. They're like, this guy's pretending to work for you. I'm like, bro, you took time out of your day? Seriously? I'm just going to show you how to use it. So just to be clear, I don't work for Remine, right? Haters, you got to love them. Anyway, with Remine, we can pull absentee owners. We can do custom campaigns. Do you know one in South Florida that's actually pretty fantastic right now is Downsize? Anybody done Downsize? And I'm going to have to catch up on the comments here. I see some coming through. I see a yes from a few minutes ago. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate you. So Downsize meaning like they have a bigger home, empty nest, obviously they're ready to move into a smaller home type of deal. Yeah. Or has anybody played with Remine or Remine Pro? Okay. We're going to hit that for a second. By the way, does everyone agree that this is where most of the listings will come from this year? You could add a few to the list, but is everybody in agreement? It's pretty close? Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, there'll be a few, just to interject, there'll probably be a few people that realize that Miami's not for them with all the people that we've had come down, but this list is spot on.
Like people that don't like sunshine and freedom, like those.
Yeah, that's a really good point, but I'm
teasing. I know.
Different world down here.
It is. No, I think Florida is the best. It's one of the greatest places to be for sure. So I'm going to talk about this one while I apparently my office, somebody didn't kick the AC on. I'm going to turn that on really quick. Here, tell me what you think of this though. This is a downside search that we can do. A lot of the things that I train, I want to have some duplication. Did anybody see the movie The Founder? It's about Ray Kroc in McDonald's. Anybody ever? Not that you should watch a ton of movies, but man, one of my friends that knows I'm into business and and he's a business, he owns a solar company, and he's like, Daniel, I know you don't watch a lot of movies. You got to check out this Ray Founder, the Founder about Ray Kroc. So there's a scene in the movie, I don't have it queued up. There's a tennis court. And the way that they designed McDonald's in the beginning was they literally systematized every little process on a tennis court. Pretty cool, duplicatable. So I like a 16-year-old can run it, or pretty soon AI is going to probably make a McDonald's. Anyway. And they're the #1 real estate owner in the world, I think. So I don't know. Snapple fun fact. Anyway, here's the search we can do on Remind. Anybody wants help with this, because you probably will have some questions, reach out to me. I'll be happy to help anybody. My business cell, which Kevin, I do answer after midnight too, if necessary. But it's 407-693-6297. Just shoot me your name and email. I'll be happy to add value. Just give Kevin some positive feedback if I'm able to help you at all. So here's the search we can do on Remind for downsides. 2 stories, paid off mortgage, empty nest. So like that would be, maybe there's obviously going to be 2 people in the house, but 5 bedrooms. But you also kind of want to, if you can get check on 40-year-old children too, because they can screw up a downsize. You can do a large amount of square footage based on 2 people living there. And sometimes you can get this special search for what's it called now? The primary bedroom is like more on the 2nd story. Would anybody agree were we on the right path with that one? And you can drop in the comments, or you can unmute. I promise. I'll do something. Somebody always unmutes and participates. I always do something special for them. So if you want to, feel free. Okay, cool. So let me see what I'm going to jump into next, just because I know this is a longer presentation here. So. All right, cool. All right, perfect. No, I think you'll like this one. Who here, I know, so Tyler was talking about your first 2 years as an agent. Does anybody here want some better things? Nobody wants to necessarily cold call, right? And after this presentation, you technically won't have to ever again. But with that being said, does everybody want like some, when you pick up the phone, wouldn't it be nice to have something that you say that would work? By the way, 20 years ago, people would swear at me. People would hang up the phone. People would be mean to me, knock on wood or whatever. I'm telling you, every phone call I make, 99%, the people, they talk to me, it goes well, they set an appointment, it goes further, right? Leads the transactions, leads the business. So anyway, if you want more of that, then you'll probably want to pay attention to this section here. So hopefully at this moment, you're kind of on the edge of your seat, maybe like this, maybe like that right there. So I think we talked a little bit about Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I met him in 2005 in New York. One thing he taught me that stuck with me, he said, Daniel, if you're training, use stories and games. He wrote books and he had that board game, right? So does anybody want to play along to a 30-second game involving the show Friends that's going to help you get more listings and not have to cold call? Anybody? If not, I'll have to pick on Kevin.
Pick on me, man. We're good to go.
All right, cool. Everyone's seen the show Friends, right? So if we could pretend this is Rachel Green's fictitious LinkedIn. Kevin's LinkedIn game's pretty tight, by the way. I LinkedIn stalk him once in a while. Now, if Rachel is she's a motivated seller, she could be an out-of-state owner, or she could be a divorce or probate or estate attorney. Everybody tracking? You with me? Yeah. Now, what you want to do is we want to grow your LinkedIn. Here's what's great. With LinkedIn, we don't have to do dancing videos. You can post every day. You don't have to, but there's just 1 or 2 steps you have to do to have success with LinkedIn, which we'll hit in a minute. But once you grow your LinkedIn effectively, organically, you're going to have mutual connections. If you're a LinkedIn newbie, drop down below if you're a LinkedIn newbie, if you're a LinkedIn pro, just so I can have an idea. But what I would say is that mutual connections, it's everybody that Rachel knows, in this case, that Kevin also knows. Good, tracking? So if we click right here, what's going to happen is we're going to have a list of everybody that Rachel knows who wants to sell and Kevin knows. Now, Kevin, if you could play along, can you pretend Monica Geller was one of your best female platonic friends from high school, like your homegirl, do anything for you?
She's my girl.
Boom, see? You should be a great actor. I love it. So now, if Rachel has a luxury property she wants to sell, has no agent, and you you don't identify this on LinkedIn, she might be on a FSBO list, expired, divorced. You've identified somehow she wants to sell. And Kevin, do you all use Cyberbacker or Fiverr or virtual assistants? Most, South Florida, you all are familiar with virtual assistants, right? So I have a template you can give your VA and they will actually look up all your lists for you like this. So all you have to do is literally like, boom, like click, okay? So Kevin, if Rachel wants to sell her home, you're like, oh my gosh, she knows my home girl, Monica. Wouldn't Monica introduce you to Rachel if you asked her?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would actually reach out to her first before I even reached out to Rachel.
Boom. Yeah, especially on a luxury deal. Doesn't that legally, ethically get around the do not call list? Boom. There you go. You want to throw that DNC list out the window? Boom. That's how you do it. Here's the other thing. Kevin, I don't think Rachel is going to call a bunch of other agents and ask for a lowball commission. You know why? Kevin knows why. Monica, like in high school, would be furious, wouldn't she, Kevin? She'd be super mad. Ha, ha, ha. It's kind of a joke, right?
Yeah.
But I want to pause for a second. This can change your life. Does anybody have any questions, any feedback? This one thing could change your whole real estate business. You know why? Because you'd never have to cold call. In Miami, 80 to 90% of the homeowners in your market, if you just grow your LinkedIn one time, it would help. So everybody good? Do you recommend, if working for an employer, to use your LinkedIn for employment or create a separate LinkedIn for your real estate business? Alfred, do you have a good sense of humor? I'm gonna give you the funny answer. Alfred, we need to get you making so much money in real estate you quit that corporate job. I would say, I'm not sure. Alfred, if you could unmute, I might be able to better answer the question if you're able to. He says, if you're working for Alfred, is that the famous Alfred Shepard?
That's me.
Boom.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
I'm currently employed and I'm actually doing real estate as well as a business. And I have a question. Do you recommend that I use my resume business or my resume employment type LinkedIn profile, or do you recommend creating a brand new profile and setting it up for real estate and for my real estate business?
Are you going to get fired if you put that you're an agent?
I don't know. Never tried it.
Well, if you did, you could go all in on real estate. I typically would say one LinkedIn profile is optimal. Some people have 2 or 3 accidentally. There's a way to merge them. You're going to get way more leverage from a personal profile than a business one. And I would say that, I don't know, man, what's the worst that could happen? I would say just do it. I would say just put the real estate thing on there. It's a 1099 thing. You can say, hey, it's how I make, have you seen the price of gas and eggs? I got to get some extra flow going. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Okay.
I meant, does that answer? I don't know if that answers the question, but I would keep one because building 2, it's just, it would be kind of tough.
Cumbersome. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Great question. Thank you. Very cool. Now I want this to land home. So here's what we got. Oh, I forgot to add it. Yeah, it looked like that. I don't know if she'll be using that phone still, but yeah. Here's a real life example, because there's always a guy in the room. It's always a guy. It's always somebody hard-headed like me, like 20 years ago. Okay, not like Kevin, more like me. Now, that is me 15 or 20 years ago. Anybody know who this tall guy is right here? Anybody heard of him? That is Tony Robbins. Some people love him, some people hate him, some people are indifferent. Doesn't really matter. He's somewhat successful, right? Now, I networked my way into working with him 15 or 20 years ago, but my dad was like a police officer in Western Pennsylvania, okay? I didn't know a ton of successful people, right? However, I wanted to do some bold, big things. So if this guy on the left, if you may have heard of him, his name's Mark Benioff, created a little company called Salesforce.com. He's worth about like 7 billion. It's like 7,000 million. A lot of money, right? Now, check this out. So when I worked there, I wanted to call him. So I saw Tony and Mark are connected on LinkedIn, right? And when I worked there, his cell phone was on our computer, which is great. So every agents normally ask, how did this call go? So I'm just going to tell you really quick. Ready? Like ring, ring. It's like, hey, Mark, my name is Daniel. I work with Tony Robbins. I had a quick question. You all want to know what Mark Benioff said, right? He's like, what's up, Daniel? How you doing, buddy? How can I help? I was like, oh my God. No, I didn't go fanboy, but I wanted to. So I felt on the inside, right? So listen, it works with billionaires, luxury homeowners, regular homeowners. There's nobody you cannot get an introduction to. Is that cool? Good stuff, right? Okay, cool. All right, we'll keep rocking. Let's tie this will all tie together here. Yeah, we hit Mike Chow, his testimonials you can find online. Anyway, yeah, if you want to, feel free to hit me up. Just text me your name. It's my actual business cell. Name and email. I'll be happy to add value. You just promise to give Kevin some positive feedback if I help. Cool. So this is what we were talking about a second ago, right? The fact that if you can get 1% better per day, you're literally going to follow that exponential curve right there. I think it's pretty powerful, right? I really think it is. So whether it's your LinkedIn, whether it's some of the things Tyler's talking about or talking about with Instagram earlier, you just constantly want to be working on these things, okay? The word coaching is a bit overused, though, I will tell you. There's some great coaches out there, especially in South Florida. There's also underwater basket weaving coaches, dog walking coaches, so it's a little bit overused. Well, we just to differentiate a little bit, what we do is like exponential real estate and exponential business coaches. This is what we did for one of our high-end clients in like half a day. We got them a meeting with a high net worth divorce attorney. We got them a meeting with a 1031 exchange facilitator, and they like expireds and FSBOs, so we teed 2 of those up. So anyway, we're like a done with you type of deal, just so you know. So jumping back to these lead pillars here, these are where the listings are coming from, right? You don't need to buy listing leads. All we need to do is just get a strategy related to taking listings. Now, one of my first business seminars I went to, I learned the difference between strategy and tactics. If you don't know, or if you want a refresher, here we go. A tactic would be like when someone says this, it's how to overcome an objection. That's a tactic. You know what a strategy is? You know, like Laurel Starks, she's like, I'm going to work with high net worth divorce attorneys. I'm going to help them and serve their clients at the highest level. They're going to give me raving feedback and referrals, and that's going to be my business strategy. You see the difference between strategy and tactic? So if we're strategic versus tactical, we can get a lot more leverage. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, if we could play a little game here as well. I want you to guess from those lead pillars, which one of these lead sources can get you these type of results. Let's do it really quick. It's kind of fun. So did you know there's like 2 people you could meet in the next 12 months that could add 8 to 16 listings a year to the number of listings that you're taking? Yep. In 2 years, if you had 4 people from this category, you could get 16 to 32 listings. And in 3 years, I'd say you'd need about 8. You need about 8 of these people. You can add 32 to 60. Those numbers sound ridiculous, but Google Laurel Starks or look at her Zillow. She's getting 115 a year from, can anybody guess? I gave it away. Yes, it's going to be from high net worth. You lost me like the signal. Or, wait, Cindy, I lost you the signal, or I lost. You're not tracking like a tank.
No, when you were talking about the LinkedIn, the way that you approached it, you were going on and off. I couldn't hear. I don't know if anyone else heard it, but I missed that.
Kevin, did that come through for you?
I heard it, but
should we do it again for Cindy? All right, Cindy, I got you. You ready?
Thank you.
All right, you got it. No worries. Just be sure to follow me on IG. Just kidding.
I did.
I'm teasing. All right, here we go. So maybe somebody else missed it too. So here we go. So if we have like the show friends, okay, my computer's super Russian hackers or something are in here. Let's see.
We were talking about the Tony Robbins. How you did that call. Yeah.
Yes. So here's the deal. If Rachel Green wants to sell her home, so let's just say she's a FSBO expired or for some reason wants to sell and you know about it and she's on one of your lists, right? You got it? So what's going to happen is we're going to grow your LinkedIn. Spoiler alert, guess what we have to do to grow our LinkedIn a lot? You can connect your iPhone contacts to your LinkedIn and your Gmail contacts. You just need to add 100 a week. Once you get to 500 to 1,000, the average person has 500 connections. If you have 500, that's 250,000 people. I say go for 1,000. That's about 500,000 people. That's almost, I don't know the population down in South Florida now, but that's like a half or a third of the people you'd be able to get intros to, if that makes sense. But once you grow your LinkedIn, you're going to have these mutual connections. When you click on it, you get a list. From that list, you want to identify somebody that you know that the homeowner knows. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm happy to answer any questions. I didn't mean to go too fast. I'm just trying to make sure I get in some cool stuff.
No, what I wanted to hear was how you made that phone call with Tony.
Yeah, okay. You got it. Let's hit it really quick. So when I worked with Tony Robbins, again, I look younger there, don't I? Okay. When I worked with Tony Robbins, I wanted to call this billionaire Mark Benioff. They were connected on LinkedIn, and I found out they're good friends. In fact, Mark Benioff bought Tony Robbins something called a quad ski. It's a half jet ski, half quad. And Tony literally got pulled over on Palm Beach by the what's that called? Like the police in the water, whatever they're called. They didn't want to get him in trouble. They're just like, what is that thing? Anyway, so that, when you get to that level, things get pretty interesting. Anyway, So I didn't know any billionaires or anybody wealthy like that. So when I called Mark Benioff, because I had his cell phone, which by the way, I can get you anybody's cell phone. It's very easy. We'll do that offline though. I called him and I said, hey, Mark, my name is Daniel. I work with Tony Robbins and I had a quick question. Just the name drop alone, then Mark Benioff was like, what's up, Daniel? How you doing, buddy? How can I help you? Is that the part you missed?
Yes.
So I don't want to sound cool. I just want you to know, billionaire, luxury homeowner, there's no one that I cannot get in. I'm working on getting one to Gary Keller right now and a few other people. Like there's nobody that you cannot get an intro to if you get committed to it. Is that cool?
Cool.
Plus, you never have to cold call again if you grow your LinkedIn effectively. So there's like 10 or 20% of the time where you might have to cold call, but I've workarounds for that as well. Kevin, we good? Yeah, I can hit a few more topics if you want.
Go for it. You got about 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. We'll have a little bit of fun here really quick for a second. So here's what we got. We have people often ask me, Daniel, what type of attorney should I work with? So I can just tell you, like, this is super sad. If you saw this ad, who keeps the dog in divorce? Super sad, but definitely call that divorce attorney, okay? Because like that's great marketing. Now, this one's crazy. Like you cheated. I'm going to spray paint your Porsche. Is that crazy? Crazy good marketing. Definitely call that divorce attorney, okay? Now, buy one divorce, get one half off. No, don't call the $99 divorce. You got to have a little bit of fun, okay? Have a little bit of fun. One of my clients got an intro to Dr. Dre's divorce attorney. Does anybody know why Dr. Dre's worth $900 million plus? Anybody know what he sold? It wasn't music. I think the Beats headphones. Yes, I think somebody said the Beats headphones, exactly. So what Ernie did, he used my LinkedIn strategy and he knows somebody that went to college with Dr. Dre's divorce attorney. Boom. Are divorces stressful? Real estate divorce deals stressful? Probably. Would you put up for the stress for that listing? I probably would. Beats. Yes, Tyler, exactly. You're the man. Cool. So those are just a few different strategies you can do there. So let me get to some of the good stuff here. I'm gonna get to my crescendo here at the end. Anybody want the best stuff? Let's do it. It's gonna be right at the end. So I think there's 3 secrets to real estate success. One revolves around your mindset. I'm gonna skip that one. I'm gonna jump right into the secret 2, which is your strategies. Okay. So on LinkedIn, there's a lot of things you can do. This is a bit of a parlor trick, but this does work. Does anybody believe it's possible to get 20 to 80 people to tell you they're moving and might want to list or buy or both in 60 seconds and for free? You think it's possible? Now, number 1, remember I said LinkedIn, not TikTok on this one. Number 2, remember I said you need to get to 500 to 1,000 connections for this to work. Takes a few weeks and no money, okay? So with that being said, look, LinkedIn's kind of like a referral generating machine. By the way, you can connect with me. Here's a few terms you want to know on LinkedIn. If with LinkedIn, if we follow celebrities like Cristiano Ronaldo, we connect with our network. So remember, we follow celebrities, connect. So feel free. I'm a colleague. Feel free to connect with me. If I can refer you somebody, make an intro, I'd be happy to. I know a few people. Max connections on LinkedIn is 30,000. It's way easier to get that than it is on Instagram, but you don't need 30,000. You need 500 to 1,000. Now, why did I build this up so much? Because this is how easy it is. This is a poll. Are you planning on, this one was last year. Are you planning on moving? Click yes or no. See how many votes I got there? Somebody drop it in if you can see. 260. Now, guess who's the only person that can see it? Is the person who posted. Now, I have 88 yeses. Now, look, if you don't like this strategy, that's fine. The ones after this are way better. However, this is not, a lot of people are just like, oh my gosh, that's just so random. It's not. If you look at this really quickly, so if you know LinkedIn, 1st degree connection means that you are connected like a friend on Facebook. 2nd degree means you have friends in common. 3rd degree means they have a small network or you're just not connected. But Bernie, Steve, Rosie, Mike, they all either asked me to connect and I said yes, or I asked them to connect and they said yes. By the way, do you know who you should add after you get 1,000 people you know on LinkedIn? Did you know you can pull every 7-figure plus property owner in South Florida out of the, I would use a program like Remind to do it. But you could literally add them. But once you do, what you're gonna find is you know people who already know these homeowners. So anyway, that's a fun thing to do with it. However, here's what I think is way more powerful. Referral partners. Whoever said that they don't want to cold call or door knock forever, I think you should grab some referral partners. And they could be any of these right here. These are people that can consistently refer you business. I think some of the best, like I said, are gonna be family law, probate, estate law, and if you're in multifamily, 1031 exchange facilitators, okay? We talked about Dr. Dre and we went through this. So let's go ahead and jump to it here. I'm going to show you a little bit more how we can do that. By the way, if you want to connect your phone contacts to LinkedIn, literally just go through the settings. I can do it offline for time's sake. You just have to turn on your sync contacts, and then it may work. It may give you an error. If you have a problem with it, just let me know. From there, you just have to decide who you want to connect with. If you have any crazy people in your phone, there's no auto connect, so that's okay. Kevin, I don't know if I'll get roasted for this one. Is anybody a big TikTok fan on the call?
There's people that have accounts. Go on.
Okay, so check this out. 99% of seven-figure plus property owners spend an average of like 7 hours a week on TikTok. You want to know the source? That's from the Babylon Bee, the Onion, and from Ashton Kutcher. I'm teasing. That's not a true stat. I would say your time will be much better spent on LinkedIn. And then the joke is, but Daniel, I got a listing from TikTok. I'm like, well, how much was it? They're like 80 grand. I'm like, you would have got a bunch of seven-figure listings on LinkedIn. The old joke is, why doesn't Lamborghini make daytime TV commercials? Because people driving Lambos aren't watching daytime TV. So I am kind of I'm teasing a little bit here, but I think you're going to have exponentially more success on LinkedIn than TikTok. I also get asked, Daniel, what about Instagram? Love it. Second favorite. Okay. I actually have a client that works with a friend of ours, one of our Instagram experts. This is pretty cool. He actually has 90,000 followers. I'll just voice over this. He's doing the one thing that most agents aren't doing. Do you want to know the one thing you need to do on social that you're probably not doing? You're like, Daniel, I already do 4K photos, video walkthroughs, drone photos, the whole nine. Well, Jeremy in Las Vegas, he brings himself into the videos. He's building his personal brand. And just if anybody likes Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary from the Shark Tank, or even if you know who he is, I can tell you that I bet you 25 years ago before the Shark Tank, you didn't know who he was. Ladies on the call, do you know what Spanx is? S-P-A-N-X? Ladies are probably like, where's he going with this? Where I'm going with this is the founder is amazing, Sarah Blakely. Not one of the wealthiest women in the world, one of the wealthiest humans in the world, right? And you know what? She doesn't need any more money. And what does she do all day, every day? She grows her brand. So when you build your personal brand, whether you're the #1 divorce expert, I have a client in New York. He's like, Daniel, should I be the #1 real estate agent for people with animals? I'm like, yeah, in New York, don't you have to be careful? Don't you have to live certain places to optimize for your animal? It is. So like, look, whatever it is, whatever you want to pick, just make that and build your personal brand. You'll get overpaid when you do that. You'll get underpaid without it. So what I could probably do is land the airplane here with my best stuff, if that's cool. So here's what we got. When we use Remine, and I could help anybody do a search. Again, I don't work for Remine. When you pull out the data, anybody ever get a list like this? Wrong phone numbers, wrong emails. It's a hot mess. Yeah. I can show you how to use your virtual assistants, and I have a module you can give to them. My leads look like this before I upload them to my CRM. Does that look better? This is boring, but any basketball fans out there, if you've ever heard about Michael Jordan or rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, you know what they practice more than anything? Dribbling, like 2 hours a day, not slam dunks or three-pointers. So these are some of those fundamentals you need, which is like correct data. If you can't set a listing appointment, how are you going to get a listing? #1, I want the right cell phone. And you're probably like, Daniel, I thought you said nobody picks it up. I do have some strategies for that. Reach me offline, or if we have time at the end, I can show you how to get anybody to pick up your phone call. However, this gentleman here with this $4 million property would not pick up his cell phone. Guess what he picked up? His office phone. Where did we get it? Surprise, LinkedIn. Guess what? Office phone is never on the do not call list, and people typically pick it up during business hours, even people with $4 million houses. Now, your virtual assistant should also get their Facebook and their LinkedIn. So just pretend your list would look like this. Is that clean? Not bad, right? Now, here's what's going to happen. If this is your CRM and you click on the LinkedIn before you call, that's the actual homeowner. I covered up his name. And you're like, Daniel, that's not fair that you have 38. I know, I have 38. But the agent that I coached that was working on this deal with this homeowner, he only had one connection in common. It was his buddy that worked at Wells Fargo Bank or Chase Bank. Here's my question. Do you want to cold call this property, or do you want your buddy at Wells Fargo or Chase to introduce you? Kind of a no-brainer, right? So with that being said, let me land the airplane here. Let's bring it all together. I think I told you a little bit about the email marketing, so let's hit that really quick, and then we'll land the airplane. So again, if we want to do a custom campaign, downsize, or if you like expireds, or if you want to work with investors, email marketing can be highly effective. Do you want to see some emails that are working right now? So this email with this subject line, sick of stairs considering downsizing, 50 to 60% open rates. You get the benefits of branding, plus you might get direct response lead generation. Which two are doing the best though? That one and that one. The baby boomers love these two. They're opening them, they're responding. By the way, if somebody has to sell their big house and they're buying a little one, don't you get 2 transactions on that one? If it's over $1 million property, what are they downsizing to? 700,000? So you're talking like 30 to 50 to 60 grand GCI off of one family. Not a bad deal, right? Now, some people, of course, would never send this meme. So we have boring ones too, like 4 signs it's time to downsize. Now, I know a lot of agents hate calling expired. So here's what we did a couple weeks ago with a client. This subject line's working great. What to do when your listing expires. Reminds me of the book, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. I didn't even come up with that one. I actually, my client was an English major. He came up with that one. It's great to work with amazing people like Kevin has you doing here. You get to learn from everybody. Now, look at the response to that. Glad to connect if you feel you have potential buyers. 700 emails. He got a response and he got a $1.7 million listing appointment on an expired from an email. Anybody take that one? Not horrible, right? Most people don't reply. A few Karens might. So what we do is remember information being the most powerful thing, the most powerful commodity. So if somebody opens your email 25 times, do you want to know who it is? Another agent trying to figure out what you're doing every time. Now, if somebody opens your email 2, 4, 8, 16 times, I don't know. Me and Kevin probably don't open our email 60. We barely open it once, right? We're busy. But if somebody opens your email that many times, it's a high indication of interest on whatever you sent them. The downsize, the expired. We have ones for, tired of renters, So while email, if you do it strategically, it doesn't cost money. It can get you some pretty cool results. So let's land the airplane. How is this easy to execute? And I hope this wasn't too fast or overwhelming, but here we go. Again, we don't want to bet. We don't want to throw darts at a board. We want to bet on a sure thing. Let's begin with the end in mind. Make sure we're focusing on the right lead pillars. Yes, we can get referrals to other ones, but like systematically to have a repetitive, duplicatable process, you saw the list. And again, if you like ballers on HBO, we want whale, sharks, and ballers. Okay. I think they filmed one season in Miami, didn't they? Anyway, I digress. Email marketing is, if you get a listing, amazing. If you don't get a listing, you didn't lose 20, 30 grand on marketing that didn't work. Direct mail, old school, still works. I still try to do 5 handwritten letters a day or a week. From there, we're going to do video testimonials, we're going to build our personal brand, build some funnels. Didn't get too deep into that. But also with LinkedIn, what if somebody checked all these boxes? Want to sell, opens your email, maybe you have the Monica Rachel thing. Would anybody pick up that call or maybe even make some of those calls? For sure. That's where I think a lot of the success is going to be in 2023. So hopefully that's valuable. Kevin, I'm happy to answer any questions or, like anything I do to add value. But yeah, that's a little overview of some of the things we're working on right now with our clients.
We did have one question from Cindy Summer Perez. When you get your mutual connection to introduce you, how do you thank them?
With my presence. I'm kidding. So like, there's a lot of things you could do. Normally nothing. My friends just help me. My joke is that if somebody won't give me an introduction or a referral, that they're not my friend. I mean, sure, you could do something. You need like, what's the law in South Florida? I mean, you can do a $100 gift card, but isn't there a what's the maximum RESPA or whatever? Is there like Kevin, help me out with the legal definition on that.
I actually don't know.
Okay. I mean, you know why Kevin doesn't know? Because you shouldn't be giving out fistfuls of cash for referrals. I mean, people will give them to you for free. I think people just generally want, so Cindy, if you wanna, I'm glad you thought that was funny. Cindy, if you wanna unmute, I mean, Cindy, if somebody's like, how do you get to Biscayne? Or Cindy, if somebody's like, what time is it? Do you pretend like you're in the Hangover movie and say, F you, get out of here? Probably not, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I think most people are good people and they want to help people. So like, I don't know. I don't ever get, I guess I give out, I might do something nice for somebody, but that's not something that comes up on the regular.
Got it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No. Yeah. Now I will tell you this. If you're a type A personality, I'm clearly not. I'm not a high D on the DISC score. I'm not. Okay. Maybe I'm 99 on the DISC score. Anybody know DISC? Myers-Briggs? Okay. Shout out. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. But here's what I would say. Let's say that I know how to slow it down sometimes though. I was trying to get a lot in. So let's go back to Monica, Rachel here. So what we have is, where did they go? If, let's say, for example, all right, I'll go down the hierarchy and I'll land the airplane with that, unless anybody has any other questions. So if I'm trying to get a hold of the, oh man, it's like when you update your presentation, it's like when the listing and title company don't communicate. That's how I feel sometimes, right? Or I'm with the mortgage and the title company. Okay, here we go. So we got Rachel, Monica, boom. So what this is going to look like is most of the time, okay, look, if it's a $5 million property, be patient. And like Kevin, I think was alluding to, just get a hold of Monica. Now, what I would want to do, like here's the best. I'm with Monica in person, like, hey, Monica, could you call Rachel? Well, Rachel has Monica's phone, so she's going to pick it up. The next best is I'm on the phone with Monica and I'm like, hey, could you bring Rachel into a three-way call? That's probably second best. Third best might be a three-way text or in those top three or at the top is like, can Monica, Rachel, and Kevin meet at Starbucks? That'd be phenomenal, right? So that's up in the top. But can you get them, Rachel, Monica to make the call to Rachel or Monica to text with Rachel and or if nothing else, if it's, you know, if it's like in, oh my gosh, I better not be disparaging to any neighborhoods, huh? Okay, I won't do that. Okay. Okay, don't do that, Daniel, you get canceled. Okay, I've a lot of Cuban friends, but anyway, I wasn't gonna say hi, Leah. Anyway, Cuba Libre, muy bien, let's get some croquettes, let's get some ropa vieja and croquetas. No, if you had a property that was like 300-400 grand, which I don't even know if you have any, but if you know, then you're in a hurry, you could call Rachel and say, hey, Rachel, you don't know me. We both know Monica. I mean, look, did I know, I worked with Tony Robbins. Did I hang out with him every day? No. You have to be Oprah or Usher or somebody to talk to Tony Robbins whenever you want, right? But like, so the connection doesn't have to, it can even be a loose connection. To use a sense of humor, does anybody see Starsky and Hutch, the new one with Snoop Dogg? He's got a quote in the movie. He's like, I know some people who know some people who rob some people. Well, we don't want to do that, but we want to know some people who know some people who have some listings, so to speak. So you can get super creative on this, but you certainly don't have to be handing out gifts. But Cindy, I'll take one if you want to. I'll give you my address if you want to. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Did that answer your question? Muy bien. Muy bien. Okay. Cool. Yeah. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll wait till our MC is back here. But yeah, anybody have any positive feedback or any, you know, I'm not perfect. If you have any, you're like, Daniel, you talk too fast. I know. Try to get a lot in a short amount of time. But I'll throw my number up here again. If anybody wants, I'd be happy to talk to you. Your payment will be reaching out to Kevin with some positive feedback.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Well, speaking of positive feedback, please rate this fantastic presentation. Hopefully somebody learned at least something today. This was brilliant. This was some very cerebral stuff. So
Thank you.
Daniel, thank you. And
Yeah,
we'll
yeah, of course.
definitely get you on for the full circuit coming up later this year. So I've sent the link. Please rate the presentation. Please provide any feedback that you may have.
Cool.
And we have Andy on the line. We'll get started here in about 5 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask him in the meantime.
Make sure to thank Kevin and support him. He's doing a great job. Thank you, Kevin. Reach out if I can ever support. See everybody soon. Take care.
How's it going?
It's going real good. You know, it's really great is, you know, Daniel didn't talk much about mindset, which is great because I think that's part of what your presentation is, you know, forming habits is all about mindset. So getting rid of bad habits and starting new ones is incredibly difficult. And then sometimes you start the good habit and then it just doesn't stick. So we have an incredible speaker today in Andy Rosas. He's going to be talking all about the habits of a true professional. I said that wrong. Give me a second.
No worries.
Habits of a top producer.
No worries. Perfect. Can you guys hear me and see the presentation?
Yep.
You guys can hear
The
me?
screen is great. So Andy, you're with RESF, right?
I actually work with George. No, I worked with George before in the past. But no.
Okay, got you. And then you
Yeah,
own the company Habit Guys.
Correct. Yep.
So
I am with the Habit Guys, co-founder of the Habit Guys. We teach habits.
Andy's going to teach us all about forming the proper habits, which is not easy to do, but he's going to give you some ways to improve your ability to form good habits and get rid of the old ones. So with no further ado, Andy, thank you so much for stopping by today. The floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So everyone, you guys can see my slide that says have it, guys, right? It says it there. Okay, perfect. All right, everybody. My name is Andy Rosas. I'm the co-founder of Have It Guys. So Kevin, thank you for that intro. And it's a refreshing topic because I teach what nobody teaches, which is habits. And you'll see why that's so important in our space. So I'm going to go into the presentation here. A lot of agents don't know that nearly 90% of agents quit the business because it's due to a lack of action. Okay, according to the National Association of Realtors, nearly 90% of agents quit the business because they're not prospecting enough. Okay, now what's getting in the way? That's the biggest thing there, right? Of agents having thousands of conversations is that they know they should be making calls. They leave their job, they get a license, they join a brokerage. The brokerage gives them all the tools to be successful, but yet we still have a 90% failure rate. There's a huge problem happening in our business. And I'm going to tell you exactly what that is today. So here's what it is. Agents either came from a job or are leaving a job right now, getting the license, joining the brokerage. And what's happening is agents' habits are following them throughout their entire day. And I'm going to share with you why that's the problem and the solution to fix all this. Okay. My story, I won't get into it. Kevin told me, skip it. No worries. What I do talk about here, though, is we teach strategy, productivity, accountability in real estate, but nobody teaches specifically behavioral science. Nobody teaches habits, which is exactly what my company does. And then I go into who we are. Those are our partners, our best-selling book, our partnerships, all that different stuff. But I will go through that there and skip that. So what makes a top producer? So according to science, there are 3 different levels of change. So everyone listening to me, if you're struggling in going to the gym like you should, working out like you should, eating right like you should, prospecting like you should, this you got to listen up because this is what's going to impact everybody here today. Because according to science, there are 3 different types of change, okay? Like a target, the most important part about change is the center. The outer part of change is outcome change. Outcome change is when you say things like, I want to lose weight, I want to make more money, I want to drive a fancy car. Then you have process change. Process change is when you say things like, I'm going to go to the gym now and lose weight. I'm going to buy a lead generator to get more leads, all that good stuff to get the things that I want. Awesome. Then you have what's called identity change. Identity change is where your belief system lives, where your self-image lives. When you say things like, I hate prospecting, I hate the morning, that little voice in our head, that's called our belief system, is what we believe we can or cannot do. So overall, outcome is what you get, process is what you do, identity is what you believe. Now, the major problem is the direction of change, meaning real estate agents focus on outcomes, and that's why 90% of them quit the business instead of focusing on identity. You're going to see why that's the problem, because this is usually how people go about making change. People say, Andy, I want a new relationship. I want to make more money, a bigger house, fancy car, better clothes, more vacations, more money. And then people say, well, I want those things. Let me now get some things and think of how I'm going to get those things in life. So they sign up for a new gym, a new fat loss pill, a new marketing campaign. But think about what we see on social media today. Everyone shows you their abs, but no one shows you the process involved, right? Everyone shows you the house, but no one shows you the process involved. And this is the biggest reason why agents don't make change like they should. Because behind every system of actions, there's a system of beliefs. What does that mean? It's simple. That as humans, we do what we do because we believe it or we don't believe it. Spiritually, financially, physically, there's a belief block happening inside. So if you're not prospecting enough in your business, if you're not posting enough on social media, if you're not productive enough, if you're not following up enough, it's simply because your current identity now and the current identity needed to take those actions you should be, there's a disconnect. So where does your identity come from? Well, let's talk about the strongest identity, which is making money. So we graduate high school, we graduate college, And by the way, my college is going to the Final Four this weekend. It's 4OB. Go Owls. Little plug right there for the Final Four in Houston. Let's go. It's our first one ever, guys. So I got to celebrate it when we have the opportunity. All right, there we go. So you can either start off getting a job, or you can either start off starting your own business when you graduate school. 90% of real estate agents obviously start off getting a job when they graduate school. So they come from an employee background. And when you have an employee identity and an employee background, this is what happens. Okay, here's Tom, by the way. You can say hi to Tom. He's only making 40K a year. That's why he's kind of pissed off right now. So his employee identity is killing him. What does that mean? He believes in structure. He works 9 to 5. He doesn't work more, doesn't work less. He also believes in a consistent paycheck. He doesn't care if he has a good week or bad week. He's still getting paid. He also understands that he looks at things like a cost, has a poor mindset. He also thinks that everything he has to do leads to a result. This is what an employee believes. They do something, they get something. That's their employee belief system, okay? But an entrepreneur, here's Stephanie. She's crushing it, 200K. She's busy right now. She's on the phone prospecting. Great. Her identity is different. She believes in financial freedom. She can work as little or as much as possible. 2 hours a day, 20 hours a day, whatever it is. And she has the investment mindset, the open mindset of understanding, hey, things are an investment out there. It's a different return. And also, work doesn't always lead to a result. All right. Meaning she can do something and not get something. And by the way, does that happen in a business in real estate where you're working with a client for 6 months or a year and you don't get the deal and you literally got paid $0 to work with that client? If you have an employee belief system, an employee identity, that's going to crush your heart. Okay. But if you have an an entrepreneur belief system, a top producer belief system, you're going to say on to the next one. Okay. Not a big deal at all. This is part of the process. So here's what happens. When the employee decides that they're tired of the employee lifestyle and they want to have financial freedom, here's what happens. As realtors, we came from the employee world and we left the employee world. Physically, we're entrepreneurs, but our identity is still of an employee. And that's why when they don't get a deal in 6 months, that's why when you call and people hang up on you and you have all this negative, that's why 90% of agents quit the business, because they're still running on an employee identity. Because good habits make a ton of sense, but if they conflict with your current identity, you will fail to make change for the long run. Because listen, we told Stephanie and Tom, all you have to do is make 5 friends a day to make $100,000 or more in this business. Doesn't matter if it's cold leads, hot leads, paid leads, doesn't matter, okay? But Stephanie understands this and she's making her calls. But Tom, look at this guy. Look how strong identity is. Tom is like, man, I'm not a people person. I'm not good at prospecting. I'll do this later. I'm uncomfortable. I don't need any help. And then Tom starts to do everything in his business besides prospect. And here's a look at what Tom does to illustrate how strong identity is. Okay. So Tom is in his home office right now. We gave him the leads. He's got the dialer set up. He has his scripts memorized. He's good to go. But right before he's about to make his calls, he starts to feel a little uncomfortable. And so he's like, wait a minute. I know I got to make my calls. I know I got to do that. That's great and all. But you know what? I need some motivation first. Let me put on some Eye of the Tiger music really quick on YouTube. You know, Rocky Balboa music. He gets dun, dun, dun. He gets excited. He's pumped up. Oh, this is beautiful. Right? Now he's excited to make those calls. And now he's ready. But then right before he's about to make his calls, he looks at his desk and he's like, wait a minute. I can't prospect with a messy desk, right? That identity comes in. Man, let me clean my desk real quick. Let me clean the bathroom. You know what? Let me go ahead and paint the house and the neighbor's house and cut the grass first. And then I'll go prospect. Now I'm ready. This is great. But then he's like, all right, now I got to prospect. I get it, Andy. But you know what? Let me get my cafecito real quick. I think I need some coffee. Let me go to Starbucks. Let me go, to Dunkin' Donuts. Let me go to the, whatever it is. And then, right, he'll make his calls. Right, Nina? It's like, yeah, this is the reality of it. And he's like, wait a minute. I think I have to go to the bathroom. I'm not sure. I think I do. Let me go to the bathroom real quick just to see what happens. Let me go on the MLS real quick to look at inventory. Yeah, and you can see what's going on here, right? Let me go look at interest rates in China just in case someone asks me that question, right? So Agent Tom starts to do everything in his business besides prospect. He'll watch Netflix. Also, sometimes agents get busy closing deals, like they're working on 1 or 2 deals right now, and then they get too busy closing deals that they actually forget about prospecting, the behavior that got them those deals. And that's why their business goes up and down, or they can only cap at 150, 200 grand a year. They can't get past that. They can't scale their business because they're just hitting the brakes, hitting the gas, hitting the brakes, hitting the gas. And that's what's going on. Or they're trying to outsource it to VAs. Well, I'm going to outsource my prospecting to VAs and I'm going to, nope, sorry. You need to do it first yourself before you start scaling this, okay? So that's what starts to happen. And this is the most critical part of our business is prospecting. Yet it's the number one habit, number one thing agents avoid the most. And prospecting is the most critical part of our business. But what's holding Tom back? It's not a lack of motivation. It's not a lack of willpower. It's the fact that he has an employee identity and no one has coached him and taught him how to change that belief system. Because he's always used to doing something and getting something back. Because that's what you do as an employee. You're told where to go, when to go. You shoot an email, people write you back. You call people, they call you back. They reschedule appointments with you. You're in constant feedback. But in real estate, you can get ghosted, disappeared on, not paid for a couple of months. It can happen in our business. And by the way, realtors, tools alone don't work. I don't care how great your website is. I don't care how great your leads are. Zillow says over 70% of the leads are not even called back. Think about that. Agents buy leads and don't even call them. I don't care about your business cards, how nice they look, how thick they are, your white BMW. I don't care about how much you know about real estate. Has nothing to do with the number one important thing that we need to be doing as realtors, which is building relationships, prospecting consistently. And prospecting is the most critical part of our business. So that's what we have to change. We have to change those employee identities and change them over into top producers' identities. So agents prospect consistently, make more money, and live life on their terms. And that's the key to make change in our business. This is powerful, guys. If you're not talking about identity, you're not talking about anything else in this business because you need to be prospecting every single day. And this is critical to understand that we have to focus on identity first and not on tools and resources. So now people say, Andy, well, listen, identity, I get it, but how do you change your identity? So habits change your identity. And that's why we got to learn about habits. And by definition, a habit is something you've done so often, you don't even know you're doing it. So habits change your identity, change your belief system about yourself. And here's the thing though, also, how do you expect to change your habits if you don't even know how it works? People are like, oh, you just got to do something for 30 days. That's a bunch of BS because you still drink sodas and eat bad, even though you stop doing it for 30 days and go to the gym. Doesn't matter. That's not how it works. There's a science behind it, which is exactly what my company does and what we teach, okay? And very simple, the biology of habits is you need data, desire, response, reward. You need these 4 pillars for a habit to form. An example is the phone goes off, that's data. Desire is, I wonder who just texted me. Response is you grab the phone. Reward is, oh, you know, it was your client. Your brain releases dopamine. Your brain goes, man, that felt good. All the feel good stuff in your brain. And then your brain says, man, what were you doing before we felt so good? And it's your phone. That's why our phone is so addicting. So guess what? Marketing companies use this science against us to buy the food, to buy their apps, to go on Netflix, and you don't even know why the heck you binge watch for hours. That's how addicting and how powerful habits are. It gets us to do things, whether we know it or not, we're forming habits, okay? So why not use this science to our favor? And that's exactly what my company has done, where we brought science, behavioral science, into real estate so agents do the number one thing they need to be doing, which is prospecting. And that's it. That's what we do. And that's our message.
Beautiful. Do we have any questions for Andy?
All right. Not all at once now. We're good. I'm kidding.
No, it's powerful stuff. You're right. You're right how, everybody's vying for our time, our most valuable resource, and we don't even know half the tricks that they're playing against us. It's really eye-opening to get some of the information that you provided today. For sure.
Gotcha. That's it. Yeah. It's all habits. And once you start changing people's habits, you change your life. That's it. Because once you start doing what you should be doing in life, in general, everything, there's no better feeling than being in integrity with the outside world, with the inside world of you doing what you're supposed to be doing, which you know you should be doing.
Right. Sorry, I was on the phone at the beginning of your presentation. Did you go over how many days it takes to form a good habit?
No, I didn't. But scientifically, it's about 60 something days because there's some habits, it's not 30, it's about 60 something days because some habits have trauma from childhood experiences and all that. So you just can't tell somebody, hey, make a call people when someone has a trauma calling somebody when they used to get beat by asking questions as a kid. So you can't just change someone's, old traumas from decades. So it may take a year or two, right, to change some certain habits.
Got it. That's fascinating because I think there's other numbers that are flying around that say it's only 22 days. So I'm really glad that I asked that question.
Yeah, scientifically 60 something is what it is. Some days, yes, some things you can change, like maybe replacing soda with sparkling water. Great, you can change that habit in no time. But other habits that are more deep rooted take a lot more than 3 months or a month. So
Got it. Okay, so we do have a question coming in from Roland. Thank you, Roland, for the question. What is a good time during the day to engage in phone prospecting, in your opinion?
well, in my opinion, as a habit coach, we say, first of all, it doesn't matter. Are you freaking prospecting daily? That's my first answer. As a habit coach, we say, how many calls a day are you making? Oh, I only make 2. So you know what? We're not even going to talk about when to call. We just need you calling, right? Prospecting consistently. But we like to slot it in between 9 and 12. So 9 and 12, 9 in the morning to 12 p.m. is usually when it's a good sweet spot to prospect. But pickup rates between 4 and 6 are higher. So it depends who I'm coaching and if I can trust you to move your prospecting time from AM to PM. Because you know what happens when you move a workout from the AM to the PM, you don't go to the gym in the PM. But if someone's going to the gym in the PM, then I can tell them, you know what? Working out at night might be a better option for you. So it all depends if they're prospecting consistently or not, and if I can shift them over to the PM.
Right. It also sounds like to me as if you don't have showings, then 4 to 6 is a good time to pick up as long as you stay consistent to that. But if you have showings that
Exactly
9 to 12, it really is the sweet spot that I've heard as well. So that's fantastic. Any other questions? Well, I'm going to post the link one more time. Please rate this presentation. Andy, we're definitely going to have you on later this year. So
Awesome.
Thank you so much for your time. If there's no other questions, I'll let everybody go. But we have a wealth of information right in front of you. So if you have a burning habit question or any specific advice that you need in your life, now is the time.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for the opportunity on this, and God bless you guys.
Andy, be sure to put your contact information where they can follow you on Instagram, LinkedIn, your phone number, things like that. Put that in the chat so people have it.
Give up on my way.